breaks across the plains. Hope rekindles in the crimson tide, as freedom's anthem calls our names. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Fields of dreams are ripe once more. Factories hum with honest pride. Our banner waves on every shore, with courage marching by our side. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Through trials dark, we found our steel. The eagle's cry breaks through the night. In unity, our wounds now heal. We chase the dawn with fearless light. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Everybody, what's all that noise?
Me sipping my tea.
What's up, everybody? Do you have a
Wait. There you go.
Yeah, you gotta mute that son bitch. What's up, everybody? Hey, what's up, sis? What's up, Chris? What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy from Philly in the house. What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? How you doing? How you making out?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm hanging in, man. I'm hanging in.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. I'm walking, I'm playing.
There you go. There you go. You're in there. Yeah, you're back. All right. Cool. We got a great show for you tonight. Just another plethora of stories out there that, oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like a fire hose of news that keeps coming. It's been that way since January, man. You gotta love it or hate it, depending on what side you're on, right? So let's see. Hipless. No, she had a knee. She wasn't hipless. She had a knee replacement. But I'm going to go over real fast. I'm going to go over the stories, the main stories. Okay, here we go. Ready for this? European leaders now know, because they saw the intel, that Trump was right. Iran was an imminent global threat. They were. Of course, they lied about how much enrichment they had already done. This is for our Canadian friends. I wrote, this goes too far, but the headline is, Canadian government advances plan to criminalize, quoting, Bible's hatred. What do you think of that, kid? What do you think of that?
You know,
how goofy is that?
That's it's just bizarre.
You got to wonder, are they starting to let a lot of Muslims in too? And that's what, and they're getting shit tons of money for it, because that's
and I think in Canada it's more Indian and Tamil refugees.
Yeah, but they don't want to cut your head off or not assimilate into society as much as.
Oh, there's plenty of those too.
Yeah, what among the Indians? See, down
yeah.
here they're just driving trucks and causing all kinds of nuisance. Which we got a story about that, by the way. So Clarence Thomas, one of my Alito and Thomas. That's it. Clarence Thomas becomes the 4th largest serving Supreme Court justice in U.S. history. Again, depending on whether you're a Jacobin, or a MAGA guy, you love him, hate him. What's that?
I saw a meme once. If conservatives are so racist, how come we want 9 Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court?
All right. Yeah, because they're full of it. Election results. Get this, guys, in Europe. Election results are finally in. The European revolt is here. It's not coming. It's arrived. The quiet collapse of the American restaurant. That's an interesting one that we'll go through. There we go. California sheriff seizes 650,000 ballots, defies Democrat state AG's demands to shut down election probe. He won't do it. And the AG can't stop him because he's a sheriff. He's the highest law enforcement officer in his county. So he's going to do it. Europe, and you know what? I hope that this sheriff is a beacon to a lot of other people that are not, sucking on the state teat, if you will, but are like sheriffs, district attorneys, stuff like that out there. Because there's a lot more red areas out there than there are blue, but there's just more people in the blue. And I hope that gives them rise to say, you know what, we've had enough shit too. We're done with it. We're not doing things your way. We're doing it the right way now. Hopefully. Europe, home to estimated 1,000 no-go zones. Say what? Due to migration. You know what a no-go zone is, Dr. J?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Anglo, what's up, brother? Hey, thank you, Sarah. Look at that. This is evening, Rich. Evening, Dr. Jade, folks. How you doing, man? Hope you're good. Sis, Anglo said hi. That's my sister, by the way.
Yeah, the no-go zones, of course. Everybody knows they're the Muslim Sharia law enclaves.
Yeah. Well, that's where you just don't go. Cops don't even go into no-go zones.
Yeah, no, that's where they enforce Sharia law.
Yeah. Or they just enforce street crime. To the point where you don't want to go there, right? So there's Mike Lee. Get this. Biden FBI monitoring of Susie Wild's conversations with lawyer called bigger than Watergate. Biden actually listened in on Susie Wild's conversations while she was talking with her lawyer.
You're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to even listen in. That's sacrosanct. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. You're not allowed to do that shit.
The only thing above that is priest penitent.
Yeah, and the only reason why they did it was because she was involved in the Trump campaign. They wanted to know what they were doing. Guys, every week we're finding out more and more bullshit that administration did. It's a shame that you can't bring charges on them for doing that. The White House during the Biden administration, get this, edited federal health officials' messaging on stroke after COVID-19 vaccine. Newly released records show. Now, we all knew that, but remember, there was a summit on Facebook right after COVID broke, and it was a summit of doctors from around the world. Best thing you could have for a supposed pandemic, right? They were all talking about protocols they were using that were helping their patients. Facebook shut it down. Why do you think? Because Democrats got to them, said, "Oh, we'll shut your ass down if there's a platform if you don't shut this down now," because they're lying, right? So you got a medical doctor who went to med school. You know the drill. Who went to med school, has a practice, cares about their patients, wants to continue to practice, and they're going to go and lie about something like COVID on camera, on Facebook, the most widely used social media. Far more than X, right?
Yeah, they're not.
They're going to lie from around the world. They're all going to lie.
They're more. The ones that do are more politicians than doctors.
Yeah,
like Fauci.
Well, yeah. Atlanta airport. We're going to see this before and after video shows what ICE has changed. You'll see that. That's pretty good. Offended Michigan sheriff arrests an American citizen over a meme. Over a damn meme. Seriously? Can you believe this shit? Well, they did that to the guy, the MAGA guy that put out memes in 2016. I think the meme said something like, what was it, November 8th in 2016? Said, don't forget, Democrats, don't forget to vote on November 9th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and they arrested him. They literally put him in jail for a meme, a goddamn meme. There we go. Sydney Sweeney. She's a doll. Sydney Sweeney thanks the troops while sending well wishes to her Air Force brother. It's a feel good story of the week. There's this woman, man. She's Dem Congresswoman.
Oh yeah.
Indicted over stolen millions. Radio silence from the legacy media. Wow, we're not legacy. We're going to talk about it.
And they just found her guilty.
Oh yeah, and they're going to expel her. And then she's got to get up on charges. Chevron gives Gavin Newsom the old double-barreled middle finger with driver-friendly move. Number of immigrants in border communities plunges thanks to Trump's crackdown. Now, you got to understand, like El Paso used to be a nice, quiet little town. And then Biden got in. And it was completely overrun. A lot of people sold their homes and got the hell out. They couldn't take it anymore. The town was completely overrun. Just thousands and thousands of them just sleeping on the street because they had nowhere to go. But they weren't tenting it. They were just like sitting next to each other, huddled.
Yeah, crime rate in Tucson went through the roof.
Oh yeah, of course. And then we have these Democrat assholes and mainstream media. But I repeat myself, who are out there saying, well, statistics show that immigrants commit less crimes than American citizens, which is bullshit. Because they conflate illegal and legal. It is true, Jade. It is true that legal immigrants and permanent resident people commit far less crime than American citizens because they're starting to learn the dream, right? They don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, I've heard that. I'd have to study the actual numbers.
But the illegals far surpass crime.
Oh yeah.
Of Americans. But the legal immigrant, no, I've already looked at it. The legal immigrants, that's what my degree was in. The stats on that. And I looked it up. Legal immigrants are fine. But they was, immigrants. Yeah, that's right. Immigrants, but not illegal. You forgot to put the word illegal in there. They always do. Here we go. Look at this. Dr. Malone says, I'm done. Malone exits CDC vaccine advisory role. Because you know what? RFK Jr. has to jump on that, like now. He really has to jump on that. Malone is the guy that was the godfather. He created the protocol for
he invented the mRNA.
Yeah, mRNA. Vaccine. Well, he created the protocol for it. Yeah. He told me, I interviewed him. He told me that they had to that every time they injected it into a human, that it killed it right away because your immune system killed it. So they had to find, what do they call them? Immunoreceptors, I think they're called. And each one has you have like, I think it's a while ago, 4 years. You have like 12 of them in your body, and each one can ward off, can give immunity, can fight against all different kinds of diseases. Each one has like each one will have like 1,000 things that it will help you with immunity. But then the next one has 1,000 different things. So what they did to get it to go, now he didn't do this, but what they did after he left, because he had to take up another venture to get into the human body, was they found the immunoreceptor that fights it, and they put something in the medicine to kill that immunoreceptor. So now people that got the vax, they are susceptible to cancers, all kinds of illnesses that immunoreceptor would have protected them from.
Yeah, and
I've said this brought before. Up on charges for that.
I've said this before. The biggest problem is we just don't know.
Well, no, we do know, and we know that, and we also know
we don't know the long-term effects. There's no way.
Oh, you mean long-term effect? Yeah, but well,
we can suppose.
Do you know that Malone has long COVID?
Does he?
And he got it from the vaccine. He took the vaccine because he was sick, and his doctor advised him, yeah, I would get it. And it was before we knew everything. that we know now. It's a damn shame.
The interesting thing, I've seen a lot of people that say they've got long COVID, and the symptoms seem remarkably similar to the symptoms of getting the vaccine, the side effects of the vaccine.
Right. Hey, Linda, how you doing? How's it going, people? Let me see. Who else? We've got 9 people. Hit that like button if you haven't already, please. It helps a lot. Really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, let's go down one. 83-year-old veteran randomly shoved onto a New York City subway tracks, dies from injuries, illegal immigrant charged with murder. And I got the video, but I can't show it. I got the video. There's a video of 2 guys not involved. They jumped the turnstile. 2 guys committing a crime to watch it. This guy was standing there, and 2 guys got over and they walked to the right, but you saw this other guy come walking back and pushes them. And there's 2 security guys talking. You could hear them talking because that's the video. And he pushes him right before the train comes. And they're like, oh my God, what the hell did he do? You know, I'd probably get a ding for showing it because it's violence and straight up. So now, if I had 1 million more subs, yeah, they wouldn't care. Xi sees his chance to take Taiwan. This is an interesting one because we got the whole thing with Iran going on right now, and Xi thinks that we're going to be bogged down. We can't fight 2 fronts. Well, we're not even really fighting one front anymore. We're just trying to take out the artillery in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, you remember? Did you hear that Trump said that Iran gave us a gift? Did you hear him say that?
Not that one.
Yeah, he said Iran gave us a gift, and I'll tell you what it is later. And he did. And the gift was, I think he let 100. It could be 10 or 100. I don't know, but he let a bunch of tankers through, and didn't as a gesture of goodwill, and didn't blow them up. But yet they're still saying we're not negotiating with America. And you got the a-hole leftists on Facebook pointing out the memes. You know, are the negotiators in the room with you right now, Trump? You know, that kind of crazy shit, right? But they don't seem to realize that Trump never said that he was directly. He said we're negotiating right now. He has third-party negotiators, which, well, it's Witkoff is the chief of that. He's a special envoy. He was appointed. And then Jared Kushner, Marco Rubio, and J.D. Vance. They're all negotiating with Iran's negotiators in neutral territory. That's what's going. Hey, 42. What's going on, brother? Guys, by the way, I'm going to be on 42 show tomorrow night. I don't even know what time because the time zones are changed, and I'm kind of goofy on that for England. I think it's an hour later than what I usually do. So it'll be like 6:30, I guess. But I'm going to be on there tomorrow. You guys will always go. Please go. Bring friends. All that. Jim Bob, you there? 12. Yeah, 12 ships. Is that what it was, Jimmy? Cool. Yeah, I said 10 or 100. Man. All right, guys. Let's go to the next one. So, Tom Homan just revealed the dark secret inside Biden's immigration scam. That's going to be a good one, too. Today's viral question. Did you know your tax dollars were buying U.S. farms for foreigners? Are you kidding me? Here you go. This is CNN's Scott Jennings challenge to SmackDown by famous Never Trumper. That famous Never Trumper is Joe Walsh. And he was, I think he's from Texas. And he got in under the Tea Party. And here he wasn't a Tea Partier. He lied to the people. That's why he did one term and they threw his ass out. He's full of shit. And now what he's doing, he still claims to be a conservative. He's a real conservative. Trump's not, right? And his claim to fame now is that he has this. I'm not even going to name it, but he has this software that he's grifting off of, and the software he's got a GoFundMe for it, and it's already working, right? The software, get this, he's a conservative, right? He's always a staunch conservative, more than Trump, but the software alerts illegals when ICE is in town and helps them with legal help and all that. Can you believe this shit? There. Yeah, so he's going to challenge. He basically said he was a nut and all that. But then we also have videos.
And who is it doing this?
It's Joe Walsh. He's a never Trumper rhino. Quite frankly, I can't even see rhinos doing an app that will help illegal aliens. I mean, I know we're going to have some rhinos in the Senate that aren't going to vote for the SAVE Act. But did you hear about how he's doing the SAVE Act? Oh, I'll pull that up. That's one of my stories. It's a brilliant move that Trump did because Thune recently changed his tune, right? Thune changed his tune. Yeah, Thune recently changed his tune, and in fact, I think, and it was because on Monday he had a meeting with Trump at the White House with the rest of them, and yeah, I did a video on it, which nobody watched. Something's happening with my numbers. My numbers have plummeted bad. I might just start doing live streams from now on, like every night. Just do.
Yeah, would have been interesting. Would have been interesting to be like overhearing those conversations.
Yeah, I can play the video for us.
No. To be in the room at the time.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, but I can play the video and it'll get either that or I'll read the story because I wrote the story too.
Now, I want to know what Trump said to Thune.
Oh, well, we know what he said to Thune. We know that I mean, there were probably threats. Oh, we can get you thrown out. I can push to have you leave as majority leader. How would you like to be known as the one who caused us to lose the House, possibly the Senate, and then screw up everything that we're doing right now? See, right now we're at a pivot point where Trump took some risks. Hey, what's up, Charlie? Good to see you, Charlie. He's doing like he took some risks, okay, and he's at that vulnerable part now where he really has to deliver, and he's going to, right? He said in the very beginning there's going to be some pain, and he meant for like a year at least, right?
Oh, we've got no audio. Well, I don't know what's happened to Rich, but we can't hear him.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, there you go. You know what it was? I moved it, and it's got. I've never used this before. It's got a little mute button there. Boy, the more you know. Sorry, guys. But
that was exciting.
Yeah. You were going to run the whole show.
There you go.
There you go. So now, and then we got all the craziness, and then I got a ton of videos. A lot of them are pretty funny that we're going to play tonight. Well, let's see. So chime in, guys. How is everybody doing? Let me get in. I can play that. Hold on.
Yeah, let us know how your life is going in the chat.
Yeah, how you guys doing, man? I do all the talking all the time. Let's see. Big, proper, strong one. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, you're doing good? Good. Carrie Ann, see that? My sis steps up. Let's see. All right. We'll do the first story. Where the hell is it? All right, here we go.
Where do you want to start?
European leaders. This is from American Greatness, which is a great story. All right. European leaders now know that Trump was right. Iran was an imminent threat to the globe. Iran's failed strike on Diego Garcia exposed the truth. Tehran's long-range ambitions were real all along, and Europe ignored the warning until it was too late. Not you guys, your leaders, just like our leaders on the left over here. March 20, 2026 marked a turning point in the 2026 Iran war when Iran launched 2 intermediate-range ballistic missiles at the joint UK-US military base on Diego Garcia, a remote island in the Indian Ocean. Although both missiles failed to reach their target, one malfunctioned in flight, while the other was successfully intercepted. The attack sent shockwaves, I tell you, through Western Europe. This missile proved that the late Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei had lied for years about the true range of Iran's missile arsenal. Khomeini claimed Iran's missiles could not threaten beyond the Middle East, and their range had been limited to 2,000 kilometers. The attempted strike on Diego Garcia, more than 4,000 kilometers from Iran, proved Iran's leadership was actually building missiles with far greater ranges, capable of striking deep into Europe and hitting major cities like London and Paris.
Yeah, but Iran army, the general said no, they limit their range to 2,500 kilometers. You bigot? You don't believe them?
Yeah, I don't believe him. I'm a bigot. The missile attack also forced European leaders to accept two broader realities. First, that because this was more evidence that Iranian leaders lie constantly, like we have to convince them, Khomeini's so-called fatwa prohibiting Iran from developing nuclear weapons was also a lie. And second, that President Trump's justification for launching the 2026 Iran war, that Iran posed an imminent global threat, had been right all along. Now, that's not the intelligence that Trump has that he can't share with us yet. That's not the intelligence that told him, yeah, guess what? They're a month away. We got to stop them because, and people say, well, they always say that. Yeah, well, guess what? 47 years of death to America. Every day, it's part of their prayers, right? Death to America. You know, you kind of take them seriously. European leader, was that?
5 times a day they pray.
Well, yeah. But I said death to America at least every day. They say it. And I'm talking everybody in the regime. The Iranian people are like normal people. You know what I mean? There's great people. There's JOs. There's a-holes. You know, stuff like just like any other society. But it's everybody knows it's their government that went to shit. So European leaders were in denial about reports over the past 15 years of major advances in the range and sophistication of Iran's missile arsenal because they foolishly believed Khomeini had capped missile ranges at 2,000 kilometers. This included the advanced Karam Shahar 4 medium-range missile with an estimated range of 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers. Europe also largely overlooked the implications of Iran's multi-stage rocket tests, which it claimed were space launch vehicles, but many experts assessed were actually tests to develop long-range ballistic missiles, including ICBMs. So every time little rocket man in North Korea, every time he launches anything, the press is all over it, right? We hear about it like 5 minutes later. And yet they're able to build all this shit and our press never told us? Come on. What's that all about? Iran's supposed space launch rockets, such as the 2-stage Simorgh and 3-stage Zuljana, I think they do those names on purpose, have been estimated to have ranges of 4,000 to 6,000 kilometers. London is about 4,000 kilometers from Western Iran. Holy crap. Leaders in UK, France, and other Western European states now realize their cities likely are in range of Iranian ballistic missiles. So guys.
Well.
Yeah, but hold on.
About that.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens if they put a little warhead on that? If they get them stronger so they could and they could hold more fuel to go that far with that weight, what happens then?
So
this is why
all of a sudden all the politicians in Paris and London had a little tightening of
it's called the Pucker Brigade, right?
Little pucker.
Yeah. It's called the Pucker Brigade. They all shit a brick at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens if they do get the bomb? Well, they don't even have to use it. You know, you're going to become all Muslims, or else we're going to kill you. I mean, think about it. Everybody kill Israel, or else we're going to kill all of you, right? I mean, when they tell you, "Oh, we want the bomb because we want to use it," you know, where's the deterrence there, right? I mean, think about that. Where's the deterrence? There isn't any.
We're only enriching for medical purposes, and we only need 5% enrichment, and then but we've got 60% enrichment.
But Islam is a religion of peace.
Yeah,
and you know what they mean by that? They mean that Islam is a religion of peace in the same way that U.S. Marines say my rifle is an instrument of peace. And it means that once we kill our enemy, every last one of them, there will be peace. Mm-hmm. That's what they mean in Islam. Islam's a religion of peace. Yeah, when you kill everybody that you hate, which is everybody that's not you, you'll have peace. That's what they mean.
Yeah. If you are a people of the book, you get to convert, and if you're
there, you go.
And if you're not, you get killed.
Yep.
And if you don't convert, you get killed.
What was the movie? Linda, what was the movie? What was it called? Do you remember? Peace in the Middle East. Yeah. Yeah, that goes back to the day that the Jews said, no thanks to Muhammad. And he said, oh, I hate these people. That's why they hated him. Because he said, he went to them and said, hey, we got some things in common. You have a book. We have a book. You have one God. We have one God. Why don't you join us? And I went, that's okay. We're good. We've been doing fine for 1,000 years before you schmuck showed up.
We're good.
And that's when he hated him.
So
from then on. Okay.
Yeah,
so
what was it that this guy went up to heaven and he says to God, God says to him, okay, so you've been a good man and we'll get to, you can ask me, one question. And he says, okay, peace in the Middle East. Tell me, how are we going to get peace in the Middle East? He said, whoa, that's tough. I don't know if I want to do that one. Give me another question. He says, okay, God, explain women to me. God hesitates a second. He says, give me that first question again.
Yeah. I heard one the other day, and Jimmy bought tickets for he and I to go to this to the show for a comedian. And I hear him the other day with this comedian. He says, when women complain to you about something, he goes, they don't want a resolution. They don't want you to fix it. What do they want? They want you to just listen. And all the women in the audience go, that's right. We just want you to listen. And he goes, so I'm having dinner last week with my ex. And she started saying, I'm choking. He goes, and I said, yeah, I hear you.
I'm listening.
Think about it. I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just listening. You don't want any results or any help. Right?
I'm listening.
So let me finish this one out. Trump's contention that Iran's nuclear weapons program was an imminent threat is also now harder for European leaders to deny after the missile attack on Diego Garcia.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, for years, European leaders and the global foreign policy establishment dismissed the threat from Iran's nuclear weapons program because Khomeini's fatwa. Now, they believe because he calls it a fatwa. Ooh, he's real serious. He wouldn't lie about that. In the Quran, it tells them that they can lie, that they should lie in order to advance Islam.
They can lie to non-Muslims, and that doesn't even.
They can lie to Muslims as long as it moves Islam forward toward any goal that they have, right? So they can use the word fatwa, and they can lie about it. And yet our stupid ass press say, well, yeah, it was a fatwa, whatever the hell that is, but I understand it. You can't lie about that. Okay, all right.
You wouldn't lie to me about that, would you?
Yeah, you wouldn't lie about a fatwa, would you? Oh, my God. Borrowing Iranian nuclear bomb, claims of U.S. intelligence agencies that Iran's nuclear program was halted in 2003 and repeated promises by Iranian officials that their government had not decided to use their growing nuclear expertise and infrastructure to produce nuclear weapons. Yeah. We have all this oil. But damn it, we have to have nuclear power. We're going to put all this money into nuclear power, even though we got all this oil. It's crude, but yeah, we got it. Unreal. European leaders also joined Democrat politicians. See, there's your problem. In claiming that Tehran had complied with President Obama's 2015 nuclear deal. Bullshit. Show of hands. How many people here know that nobody signed that deal? Did you know that? Lurch? What was his name? John Curry. We called him Lurch because he looked like a lurch from the Addams family. He never signed it. Crazy ass over in Iran never signed it. Nobody signed it. It was not a deal. Plus, Obama should have been impeached for that because it was a nuclear deal with the world's #1 state-sponsored terrorist of terrorism, and he didn't make it a treaty. It's because he knew a treaty would never get past even a Democrat Senate for something like that. And that's why Mike Flynn. That's why he got in trouble because he was the equivalent what Tulsi Gabbard is, but for the military. It's the DNI, I think it is, or no, it's Director of Military Intelligence, DMI, I think it is. I think. Hey, what's up? Take two drums.
Yeah, and that agreement.
Good to see you, man.
That agreement, you're right. It wasn't a treaty, but that agreement, didn't it have a clause in there that they could go ahead and develop nuclear weapons after
15 years
or something?
15 years. Yeah, it was in
years.
the appendix. They put it in the appendix of the agreement that 15 years after the adoption of the agreement that they could have a nuclear weapon. What a joke. And then when Trump said, we're bowing out of that thing, they're like, oh my God, that's a treaty. No, it wasn't a treaty. He would have never got it through as a treaty. Obama knew that. Obama was the scumball who knew that. And I think Obama wanted to get rid of the Sykes-Picot, the boundary lines that the Brits put in there, because he wanted to go back. He said, I want to go back to 67 lines as well to take away everything that Israel gained after they were attacked multiple times. And so they took land for defensive reasons. And I think Obama wanted Iran to be the bully of the region. I really do. I think he wanted them to be in charge. Iran, the whack jobs. Yeah, well, we're done with that. That's what I think. So let me see. Should I read it? Yeah, I will. I'm going to read my. I know it's tacky, but I'm going to read my own story just to go over.
If you got whack jobs in charge, but you can control the whack job, then that's a good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Thune suddenly opens the door for the SAVE Act. Something big just unfolded in Washington, D.C. It did not happen overnight. The pressure has been building for months. Now the situation is finally broken open. The Senate Majority Leader, who kept saying election integrity legislation could not realistically pass, has suddenly changed his position. That man is Senator John Thune, as if people didn't know. For months, many conservatives criticized Thune and accused him of blocking progress. These are cough drops, by the way. Everybody always asks, what the hell are you eating all the time? So I got a really bad cough for like 2 months. For months, many conservatives criticized Thune and accused him of blocking progress. Now he appears to have backed down. After weeks of hesitation, delays, and cautious statements, Thune is now allowing a path forward for the Save America Act. I still think he's going to trash it. Reports indicate that the turning point came after an important meeting at the White House on Monday evening. President Donald Trump met with several Republican senators to discuss strategy. Where do you hear the strategy? It's pretty cool. Among those present were Senators Katie Britt, Steve Daines, and Lindsey Graham. Hey. Along with newly confirmed Department of Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin. Out of that meeting came a plan designed to push the Save America Act through the Senate while avoiding a Democrat filibuster barrier. It's going to be interesting to learn how they did that, because he was not even up for saying it's got to be a talking filibuster, because the filibuster hasn't been. It's been used every time that the minority party doesn't want something to go through, but nobody ever gets up and talks. It's just a threat. So, I mean, I'm surprised the Republicans would say, okay, go ahead and filibuster. Go ahead. Do it. You know, I'm surprised they didn't. The proposal works in 2 stages. Where do you hear this, guy? I think this was, and it was John Kennedy from Louisiana that came up with the idea. It's beautiful. Thing of beauty. Guy. Yeah, I know. Me too. I say that in the video. I go, I love this guy. You know, first, Republicans would pass a clean funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security to ensure the agency continues operating. Didn't they just do that? After that bill passes, they would introduce a second reconciliation bill. Now, if people don't know anything about a reconciliation bill, the reconciliation bill has to have money tied to it if it's going to go in there. And you think to yourself, how is the SAVE Act going to have money? It's got to be a funding bill. How's the SAVE Act? That second bill would fund Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, enforcement efforts and include the Save America Act. So President Trump reportedly agreed that DHS funding and election legislation could move separately. He insisted on one requirement. The election provisions must follow immediately behind the funding bill using reconciliation. Until recently, Senator Thune resisted this approach. He told reporters more than once he did not believe a second reconciliation bill was necessary or appropriate. Ha ha, nay, nay. That changed after the White House meeting. Speaking with Politico, Thune said a possible DHS funding agreement created new momentum for a reconciliation effort. They also told the Washington Examiner, we'll look at all the options on Save America. We've contemplated reconciliation for other things. We got a couple of vehicles available to us, and if we find that that's a viable path that makes sense to get some things done, we'll use it. Now, many conservatives see that statement as a clear shift. He caved. For months, Thune rejected reconciliation because reconciliation is a way that Democrats always got their little things in there, and they made up ways to get funding tied to it so that the parliamentarian didn't reject it. Well, why can't Republicans do it? And you'll find out why. Now he is openly discussing it as a workable option. In simple terms, it looks like a retreat from his earlier position. The Save America Act has become one of the most debated election integrity proposals in many years. Polling shows strong support among voters. Some surveys indicate that about 71% of likely voters support the legislation, and yet the Democrats will still not vote for this. Okay, they won't do it. The bill would introduce two major changes. It would require documented proof of citizenship when registering to vote in federal elections. It would also require voters to show photo ID. You got a driver's license? You can vote. The House of Representatives already approved that measure. The obstacle has always been the Senate. Now, for months, the legislation sat untouched because Democrats used the informal filibuster to prevent a vote. In the modern Senate, that tactic blocks almost any bill that cannot reach 60 votes. The problem, and see, there's only 53 Republicans. They go, oh, they got the majority, but they can't even get anything done. Yeah, because they only got 53. You got to go past 60, right? It means they're going to have every Republican, including Susan Collins and Murkowski, right? You got to get those two a-holes in it, but then you also got to get 7 Democrats. All right, 6, because we know Fetterman's for it, right? So this problem reflects a deeper issue inside the Senate itself. Over time, the filibuster, which the filibuster is not even in the Constitution, over time, the filibuster evolved into a powerful tool for stopping legislation. Changes to Senate rules in the 1970s made the tactic easier to use. In today's highly polarized political environment, reaching 60 votes has become extremely difficult. The result has been legislative paralysis. The Senate has not necessarily passed major legislation through the traditional 60-vote process since the Affordable Care Act in 2010. Can you believe that? Let me read it again. The Senate has not successfully passed major legislation through the traditional 60-vote process since the Affordable Care Act in 2010.
You want that to be your, golden shining symbol.
Yeah. That means more than a decade of gridlock. You're right. You're absolutely right. We don't want that to be the standard. Republicans now face a choice. If they decide not to remove the filibuster entirely, they must find other ways to move legislation forward. Reconciliation offers one of the few options available. Here's how it's being done. Democrats used reconciliation several times in recent years. And that's why they're going, they're using reconciliation. Nah, bullshit. Ready? The American Rescue Plan. Remember that? Remember that big fat pig dog? Passed in 2021 under warm diarrhea brains Joe Biden using that process. The legislation involved about $1.9 trillion in spending and was passed with Democratic votes only. The Inflation Reduction Act that didn't reduce inflation at all. Think about this, guys. They thought that government spending more money would lower inflation when inflation can only be caused by government spending money.
Yeah, but Rich, the Democrats have this real interesting habit of naming their bills exactly opposite of what they will do. The American the Inflation Reduction Act.
Right. The American Rescue Plan. Yeah, it's exactly right. Flowery shit.
The Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
So yeah, they come out with these great names and everybody says, oh, I got to vote for an Affordable Care Act.
Right.
And the bill has nothing to do. It's the exact opposite.
Right. The Inflation Reduction Act followed in 2022. That bill included roughly $800 billion dollars in spending focused largely on energy programs and tax changes. It passed the Senate by a vote of 51-50 after Vice President Kamala Harris cast the deciding vote.
God, I remember that. I saw
Yeah.
her do that.
I know Republicans argued that if reconciliation was acceptable for those measures, it can also be used to address election integrity. However, reconciliation comes with strict limits. One of the most important rules is called the Byrd Rule. Now, think about that. Robert Byrd was a Klan member. He was a Grand Kleagle, whatever the hell that is, right? He was a Grand Kleagle in the Ku Klux Klan. And these a-hole Democrats in the Senate, they made him majority leader, not once, but twice. They put a Grand Kleagle in charge of the Senate, the U.S. Senate. They had the majority. He was Senate majority leader twice. That should tell you something.
Was it him that Biden gave a eulogy?
Yeah. It requires that provisions in reconciliation. Well, it was him and Hillary and Bill were there, and several people gave eulogies. But yeah, Biden was friends with him because Biden was he was too much of a coward to come out and say he was a separatist, but he was. It requires that provisions in reconciliation legislation. Here's the cool part of this, guys. Now it starts to get cool. Please pay attention. It requires that provisions in reconciliation legislation must directly affect federal spending or federal revenue. Spent money going out or money coming in. That's the only way you can get it into reconciliation, or the parliamentarians will shoot it down right away. Some lawmakers remain uncertain about whether the Save America Act meets that requirement. Senator Mike Lee, who introduced the original bill, has suggested that passing it through reconciliation may be difficult. He didn't hear about the strategy yet. Supporters of the new strategy believe the legislation can be structured to satisfy the rule. Senator John Kennedy, love him, of Louisiana, has been leading the effort to design that strategy. His argument focuses on the relationship between voter registration systems and federal benefit programs. Ready? According to Kennedy's reasoning, fraudulent voter registrations often rely on false identity documents. Those same documents can sometimes be used to obtain federal benefits. If voter rolls are cleaned up and identity verification improves, fraudulent benefit claims would decline, meaning less of our money would have to be spent on fraud. Programs such as Medicaid, SNAP food assistance, and Section 8 housing, and supplemental security income, and many more, are limited to citizens and certain lawful immigrants, those that have permanent residency status. If someone, and did you notice that not only do they have that right, but the permanent resident, they also have the right to have birthright citizenship because they're declared, they're brought into that subject to the jurisdiction thereof. All right, I digress. If someone uses a false identity to register to vote, that same identity could potentially appear in welfare systems. If those fraudulent identities are removed, federal spending could decrease. Another area involves unemployment insurance and Social Security programs. Workers who obtain employment through false documentation may attempt to claim unemployment benefits if they lose their jobs. Closing documentation loopholes could reduce those claims. Now, supporters also point to a federal database called SAVE, which stands for the Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, already uses this system to verify eligibility for federal benefits. So they already got a system built in. I love it. The Save America Act would require states to compare voter rolls with this database. Now, you know the Democrats are going to scream, rant, and rave, jump up and down and bitch till the end of time over that. You can't have states compared to this. Oh, yes, we can, because the system already exists and has budget implications. Expanding its use could qualify as a budget-related measure under reconciliation rules. There you go. Even so, legal question, huh?
We just need to get the Senate housekeeper in line.
Right. Even so, legal questions remain. Senator Kennedy has suggested modifying parts of the legislation so its financial effects are clearer. The goal would be to allow the Congressional Budget Office, CBO, to formally score the measure, and they're always off. That would present the Save America Act not simply as election legislation, but as a policy tied directly to federal spending programs. In other words, the issue would involve both voting eligibility and government benefits. Kennedy believes these revisions could be completed quickly. He has indicated that the rewrite might take around 10 days. Can you imagine? Public opinion polling also suggests strong support for election integrity policies. Surveys show that surveys show that about 83% of likely voters believe ballots should arrive by election day. Guys, Trump is ending election season. It was election day, then election week, election month, and election season.
Okay, Louis, can you hear me? Nothing? Nobody? Okay, I'm looking on my monitor and I can see me. I'm looking on my monitor and I can see. Okay, and the voice is coming through. So, okay. All right. Okay, good. Okay, I'm getting some feedback now. Yeah, I don't know what happened to me.
Right. Okay, can you hear me now, guys? You know what happened? Son of a bitch. When that blip happened, like what I did. All right, thank you, Chris. Thanks, brother. Yeah, what happened was I went out and I checked my mic in the Windows setting. It was down to 2. So what it did was it's this software. It's StreamYard, man. It messes up my system like every time. And so sorry, guys. And I'm not going to go over all that again. Yeah. You heard me perfectly, though, didn't you?
I heard you.
Yeah. But you know what? She was right. You guys were right. I'm sorry. Oh, man, that's embarrassing. Yeah, but I went out and I had to look it up and hear my volume was all the way down. Yeah, that sucks. Well, I had some good things to say. All right, we'll just move on. I'm wondering how I was probably since that. Oh, she was saying that because she was saying call me because nobody could hear me, Care. Yeah, she was trying to let me know that nobody could hear me. But while I'm reading stuff, I'm not looking at the screen, so I didn't see anybody saying, yo, we don't hear you. But here, Dr. J could hear me perfectly. That's kind of weird.
I would have said something.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. And plus, we have these digital lights that go over, and it's going all the way over. So that was just kind of weird. It was my Windows system that got screwed up by StreamYard. It happens to me all the time because I got multiple mics set up here, all attached, and it just flips over. Yeah, it flips over to another one. Sorry, guys.
Oopsie.
So let me play something fun then. We'll do some videos. Let's see. Adam Carolla, Savages. Yeah, we got to play this one. So Adam Carolla, he's a comedian. If you guys don't know, he's pretty good, but I think he's very funny, but I think he's a better talk show host than he is a comedian. Adam Carolla Savage's fat idiot J.B. Pritzker for pinning students' murder by illegal on Trump. He is the Illinois governor. He's a jackass. He thinks Chicago's just fine. You know, he wants to get ICE out of Chicago. Comedian Adam Carolla rebuked Democrat Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker on Wednesday after Pritzker blamed President Donald Trump for the murder of college freshman Sheridan Gorman, 18, allegedly committed by an illegal immigrant. Do you believe this shit? So let's hear what he has to say, what Adam has to say.
Okay, so the problem is you got an 18-year-old girl. She was executed by an illegal.
Oh, it was at the end. Hold on. Jesus. Weird stuff going on.
48 minutes long.
No, it started at where the spot was. Where's the sound? Hold on. Well, there is sound. Why is the sound?
I was hearing it.
Sanctuary state and a sanctuary city.
Oh, that's so it's just really weird. Oy vey. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I have to check this. This thing screwed up everything in my system. There we go. Now I'll hear it.
Trump's fault.
Now I hear it.
Trump said he was going to go after the worst of the worst. And by the way, you can just go after the worst. We don't need we don't need a pecking order. Yeah. This guy killed this person.
He's just the worst.
Skinned them and made a lampshade out of them. Okay, we just have killing people. All right, Trump said he's going to go after worst of the worst, you fat idiot. Here's the deal. The guy who just got done executing this 18-year-old was not a criminal. He was just here in your sanctuary city illegally. he'd been caught for shoplifting. You would have complained that all he did was shoplift 2 years ago and ICE is coming after him and deporting him.
Right.
You would have fucking squealed like a stuck pig, you fat ass.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, that guy who wasn't the worst of the worst, he was just a shoplifter, ends up snuffing out an 18-year-old young girl.
Yeah.
Now he is a killer.
Yeah.
You got your wish, bitch.
Yeah. Hold on. Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Yeah.
How you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a while. We saw you a couple weeks back. How you been? It's really good to see you, man. If you want, hey, Simon's here. Hey, what's up, Simon? I didn't see you. I'm sorry. How you doing? Let's see who else is here. All right. Let's move on to another one. Let's do another.
Want another video?
Okay, I could do that. I could do another
Stunned
video.
Euros discover America's raw power.
Oh yeah, this was good. Hang on. Let's bring it up. Stunned. Where is it?
Middle. It's towards the middle. It's like 5 down.
I don't see the word stunned.
4th one down.
2, 3, 4. Fun. Oh, fun. Why? I thought stunned was in the beginning. All right. Sorry, guys. This is from Cypher News. Fun. Watch these stunned Euros discover America's raw power for the first time. Here we go. I'm not even going to read. I'm just going to play the video. So let's see. Where is it? Here it is. I think it's a rumble.
America survived a full-scale invasion. In 250
Watch, we'll
years,
show it up here.
no army has ever conquered the United States. Not one. The British tried, but failed. Japan bombed Hawaii and lost an empire. Every superpower since has...
You know what? It's kind of crazy that in the last 250 years, they fought the British, Japan, they end up winning all the time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's
It's
a lot.
impressive,
It's
yeah.
impressive.
We like winning.
And you know what? Even crazier now is they are stronger than ever.
Yeah.
So good luck
That's
now.
true. Yes.
looked at the map and realized the same thing. Invading America isn't war, it's suicide. But here's the question nobody ever asks. What if it actually happened? What if everything collapsed and America had to survive on its own? Could the US survive a full-scale invasion? Not on...
Okay, I'm going to be very honest here, my friends. This type of videos, they are super fun to watch because at the end of the day, different people come with different perspectives,
Right.
if America would win or not. Some people believe that America could not survive. Other people believe it will be kind of like everyone loses.
Yes.
But I'm really not sure about this because I understand that America is so strong. Can you imagine if Mexico, Canada, Europe, Brazil, all China, all countries try to attack? It's difficult to believe they could hold their own, right?
Yes, but it's difficult to believe that USA can fight against everyone.
No, and the thing is, they can fight in multiple fronts. For example, they say they are able to fight 2 major wars at
the same time.
But
Okay.
here is more than 2 major wars. This is basically the world again.
Entire world, yeah.
screens, but in reality. And what would that war actually look like?
All right.
It almost never happens, but it has. The British did it in 1814. They burned Washington, D.C., the White House, the Capitol. The president ran. That's the only time in history a foreign army held the U.S. Capitol. Later, in 1916, Pancho Villa's men raided New Mexico, killed Americans, then vanished back across the border. Lastly, in 1942, Japan took 2 small frozen islands in Alaska. When the U.S. finally retook them, the terrain killed almost as many men as the enemy did. And that's it. No one has ever conquered the mainland, because America is a nightmare to invade.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
No, it's really difficult.
That's because we got 2 oceans to protect us. Although I got a story too. It's talking about our enemies right now are plotting an EMP, giant EMP, with the ballistic missiles.
Yeah, if somebody launched an EMP over Kansas with a big enough, an airburst over Kansas would take out virtually the whole of the United States.
Well, It's
Oh,
really
what?
it's a horizon thing. Whatever the horizon is, that's where it ends. That's
Yeah.
where an EMP ends.
But
That the
at
grid was
altitude,
there.
these
You're talking
are
about the grid being there. Yeah, it would take out the grid,
take out-
but
you
your
take
car
out-
would still work and stuff like that.
no, most of it, no. On the far coast, maybe, but most of the country, if you put an appropriate airburst over Kansas, it would
Yeah.
take out the
That's true,
grid
Joe.
across the country.
Well, here's where I think you're getting that from. Okay, there's actually only two grids. There's one on the East Coast and one in the middle of the country that handles everything from the middle of the country out to the West Coast. And if they were to drop that EMP there, it would take out that center grid, which the West would be effed. But on the right, it would only be people as far as the horizon of the EMP, and the EMP has to be in the stratosphere, but it can't be much higher than that.
Yeah,
In
and
order to be able to, but it goes just if the horizon's 5 miles, it only goes 5 miles, which is why they would set off multiple rockets to do that.
yeah, but at altitude, you can reach, and I'm not taking it from anywhere but officer briefings when I was in the Air Force.
Right. Hold on.
So
Thank you again, Anglo. Darn colonials. I want America back. Yeah, that's what I would
all
say.
right, sorry,
Thank you,
can't
sir.
have it.
Thank you.
Can't
I'm
have
sorry.
it.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
I'm saying this was from officer briefings when I was in the Air Force.
Was
If
that
they-
was
if
it
you-
our Air Force or the Canadian Air Force?
Canadian Air Force?
Okay. All right. All right.
But if you put an appropriately sized nuke at the appropriate altitude,
Right.
you
Yeah,
would
you can take out a lot.
virtually every piece of electronics that has any kind of antenna, virtually coast to coast. There would
And
be
you know
some.
what?
some
See,
of the
I
things-
disagree with that, but okay, you can agree to disagree. I know that we have a guy who's in Pennsylvania. He's a congressman. He was a Democrat. Why? We don't know. But he, his whole thing was he was trying to tell people about the EMP, and this was back in the late 70s, early 80s, and nobody would listen to him. Nobody. He then ran for Congress because he wanted to be able to get the government to take it seriously, because he was saying all we have to do is build a Faraday cage around the grid on the East Coast and the grid in the center, and they won't be able to take everything out. Cars would still not be able to run, things like that, but we would still, like, in other words, if an EMP goes off and you have a Faraday cage over those two things, okay, the two grids, everybody else would still be effed up the wazoo. Where the wazoo is, guys, fact checkers, I don't know, but I hear it's up the wazoo. So he was saying that if you have the Faraday cage, they're okay, and you could rebuild much quicker than if you don't have a Faraday cage. Because they say in the first year of an EMP, like if you have multiple EMPs go off over the United States and everything goes down, 90% of the population dies in the first year. What's up, Willies? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, they're saying that 90% of America would die, any country would die in the first year. First of all, you got the airplanes that would all crash throughout. There's what, like 3,000, 4,000 airplanes in the air over our skies every day. They would crash immediately if they were in the EMP range, which they are. Yeah, it was bad. And so what happened was he went, and the only thing he ever talked about in Congress was to get a Faraday cage, and he'd bring the charts up and everything. Nobody listened to him. So he got Jonathan Forsythe to write a book about it. It was called 1 Second After. And then the next one was called The Day After. And I read the first one. It was pretty good. And it was a novel. And it was exactly what would happen if an EMP went off, and it was frightening as hell. But still, we don't have Faraday cage. And they said, oh, it costs too much money. And the congressman said, right on the floor of the House, he said, it would cost about $2 billion to build it. He goes, they spend that in 2 hours in D.C. So
share my screen.
Yeah.
Just for out of interest.
No, I know what you're doing.
I don't know if we can believe the AI overview, but it says a high altitude EMP or severe solar storm. That's the other thing that people talk about.
And we're having more and more of them now because of the polls.
Yeah, could potentially disable the entire U.S. power grid and critical electronics, leading to long-term national blackouts. Now, I agree with you protecting the grid with some kind of a Faraday cage. But if you did a high altitude electromagnetic pulse, you could take out virtually everything with any semblance of an antenna, nearly from coast to coast.
See, I don't believe that, because it's gotta be upon the horizon. After the horizon, it loses all its power, an EMP burst. It has to hit it directly, and it has to be like if you're in an underground basement and you're at work and the EMP goes off, when you come and it ends almost as quickly as it comes, you won't even know it happened. Just all your electronics will go off. Okay. Yeah. And you're in that basement, you come out, your phone's going to work. It's not going to be, the circuit's not going to be burned because the EMP didn't hit you. That basement, that cinder block basement would be like a Faraday. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if cinder blocks would make a good Faraday cage. Well,
they would if you're say 4 stories underground, it ain't getting through 4 stories and in a cinder block cage, right? Yeah. It's not going to do it.
If you're in the basement of the house, no.
Oh, basement of the house, no, because you got too many openings for something like that. I mean, basement of the house, most basements aren't fully underground. You got windows and stuff to the outside, right?
Task and purpose. You want to see this video?
Not really, but you can. Okay. You can bring it up.
Every time that we post a video about drones, radios, satellites, autonomous weapons.
Make it wide, make it bigger.
Anything, really. There's always people in the comments saying things like, it doesn't matter, and EMP is going to take it all out anyways. So let's talk about it. Yes, electromagnetic pulses are real. High-altitude nuclear detonations, microwave weapons, and even solar flares can absolutely mess with electronics. This is not a conspiracy theory, but EMPs are not magic wands.
How long is the video?
Easy button for victory, and for all the fear around them.
I don't want to watch it for 18 minutes.
The real story of EMPs is more complicated and less dramatic than you've probably been led to believe. Welcome back to Task and Purpose. I'm Kyle, and today we're going to walk through what EMPs can actually do.
Okay.
Well, you could have watched it. I just didn't want to sit through all 18 minutes.
Yeah,
how vulnerable the military really is, and why these weapons aren't the apocalypse.
I don't know how
that some
quickly they're going to
think
get to the
they
good
are.
stuff. Yeah, I think this is going to be a waste of time.
Well, I mean, I thought you would know where it was. I thought you watched this video already.
This is new to me. This is
all right. Yeah, you know what? I'll play it next week. Send me the link. I'll play it next week. Yeah, send me the link.
I will send you the link.
I'll put it up. I'll actually cut it to the points where it's the most important stuff, because we're not sitting through 18 minutes. I don't do 18 minutes of anything.
I don't want to.
Right.
So,
okay. Next one.
What's that?
We're going to do the Canadian story now.
Oh, good. Always like a good Canadian story.
Oh, this isn't a good one. I said, this goes too far. Canadian government advances plan to criminalize quoting Bible's hatred. What? All right. So Canada has taken a major step toward enforcing chilling restrictions on religious expression after lawmakers passed controversial legislation that will criminalize quoting parts of the Bible under the globalist government's hate speech laws. And my first question: how many Muslims do they have in Canada now? How many?
No idea.
Oh, I thought you kept up with that. Yeah. Yeah. How many Muslims are there? Because we know that the European governments aren't doing shit about this kind of stuff, and they were against the Iranian fight because of all the Muslims that are there. They're afraid of it, riots and shit like that. I mean, look what happened to the Australian PM when they told, "Get out of here," and he said, "Oh yeah, he loved me." Okay. They threatened to kill your ass.
Yeah, but you'll notice that they said the hateful parts of the Bible, not the hateful parts of the Quran.
Right. But what are the hateful, what is hate speech in the Bible? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hate speech is whatever a liberal doesn't want to hear. Members of Parliament approved Bill C-9, dubbed the Combating Hate Act, in a 186 to 137 vote. The ruling Liberal Party and left-wing bloc, the Quebec MPs, I don't care, are pushing the measure through. The bill now heads to the Senate, widely seen as a formality given its liberal aligned makeup. Religious protections stripped out. This is the downfall of every society. People say, "Oh yeah, why would God have such a horrible thing in the world if He's well, I always say, like, why does He allow evil in the world? Well, I look at it this way: evil is just the absence of God. Cold is the absence of heat. Darkness is the absence of light, and evil is the absence of God. That's just how I look at it. All right, the legislation has drawn fierce backlash after a key religious exemption was removed. The move has opened the door to potential prosecution of faith-based speech. Now you're going to have underground churches. Because you can't think about it. A pastor may not now read the Bible out loud, certain parts of it. The bill was introduced by Justice Minister Sean Fraser. It has since been fast-tracked through Parliament. A debate on the legislation was shut down at the earliest. They don't even want to debate it. Are you kidding me? A last-minute effort by conservative MPs to amend the bill and restore protections failed. Holy mackerel. Warnings of targeting Christians, faith leaders. Yeah, why is it always the freaking Christians that get hit up with anti-religious bills? Why is that? They never go after Islam, they never go after the Jews, they never go after the Hindu. It's always the freaking Christians. Why? Faith leaders and advocacy groups. I love how they go. The Muslims go, "Oh, we will win." No, we already won. How did we already win? Well, what year is it? Why is it that year? Because it was this guy. 2,000 years ago. Campaign manager David Cook of Campaign Life Coalition warned the law could usher in a new era of persecution. Quote, with the passage of Bill C-9 in the House, Christians and pro-life advocates will almost certainly face an entirely new level of hostility as the door swings open to actual persecution under a cloak of supposed legality. He's right. We don't have to read anymore. The commies up there are losing their ever-loving minds.
Oh, yeah, they're all commies.
It's just, whoa. Bobbity's here. What's up, brother? We've missed you. Very much.
Like you say, what year is it? It's interesting how someone can live their life in a certain way and endure a rather messy death and have written about them the most popular book ever in the history of the world.
There was no such thing as liberal and conservative back then. Not in the sense that we know it today. And the conservatives, I wouldn't say the Romans were the conservatives. Jesus was of the Christ. I'm having a brain fart now. The Hellenites, and they were more liberal than the other sects that were around. Yeah, it's always been liberal and conservative, not in the terms that we know it. There's many countries today that don't have liberal and conservative in the way that we think of it. What do you say? Touche Anglo. No, what did Anglo say? Now I gotta know. Somebody had him the job. Okay, all right, let's go back. We'll skip Clarence for now because I got another European one. There's a good one. Election results are finally in. The European revolt is here. There you go. Revolver. There we go. It's finally happening, folks. Europe is actually waking up thanks to the left's failed migration experiment. And a lot of you guys here, when I listen to you over on 40's channel, you're a part of that. You're a part of, because don't think that just because you're on a YouTube channel, the people aren't listening that don't chime in. There's always people that don't chime in that are listening, right? So don't think that your words don't get out there. All you need is like one little piece of common sense, and somebody goes, God damn, I heard that, and the water cooler theory, right? The university theory, the supermarket theory. You tell one person, they tell a lot of people, and then it becomes a thing throughout your society. And so everybody was afraid to talk about it. Now they're talking about it in Europe. They're like, what the fuck? We got a real problem here. We're about to lose our entire identity. And you're at the phase now where the Muslims no longer care to make you think that they're going to comply because they think they have enough people right now because they're getting elected, right? Europe's global elites have been selling mass migration as some kind of popular snack food that's good for your soul. It's all over money. To Euros were told it was compassionate, enlightened, and totally necessary to flood their countries with foreigners who refuse to assimilate. And if regular Joe Schmoes noticed all the rising crime, cultural tension, social collapse, or the fact that not all cultures fit neatly together, they were smeared as backward hicks, hateful bigots, or too stupid to understand how diversity is our strength and our future. Think about that. Think about that. That's the same argument they make everywhere they try this bullshit. Diversity is our strength. No, it's your downfall. Because these people, they don't want to assimilate. They want you to be the one to assimilate. They don't want to assimilate with you. No. I would say that Islam, I don't believe, look, I'm just going to fact checker. I'm just going to go out and say, I don't think Islam is a religion. I don't. I think it was a totalitarian system that was created to keep the people in society from becoming animals. That's what I think.
I'll go you one. I have read something, fact checkers. I'm not advocating anything, certainly not any hatred towards anyone. I've heard people call Islam a death cult.
Oh, yeah. There was a woman professor who wrote a treaty on this, and I loved it, and I can't find it now. I had a link to it. God damn it, and I lost it. But I read it years ago, and she went on to say that, for example, Christianity. What is the number one thing that Christianity, like there's a lot of messages and tenets in it and canons and all that, but what's like the number one thing, right? The number one thing is for you to become more like Jesus, for you to become more like God, right? Have a personal relationship and become more like him. And same thing with the Jews, have a better relationship with God. Buddha, have a better relationship to the fat guy sitting under a tree, right? I mean, forgive me, guys. I don't know anything about Buddhism, but and I know it's better than that. But Islam is about what? It's about submitting, because that's what the word Islam means, submitting to Islam, not to Muhammad, not to Allah. It's about Islam. Everything about Islam is about Islam. So it's different. It's not the same. And they're allowed to, the book says they're allowed to lie, right? To the infidels, the kafirs, all of us, they're allowed to lie to as long as it pushes Islam forward, right? And they hate when you know that, by the way. So the fact of the matter is they don't have to assimilate. They don't want to assimilate. They want you to assimilate to Islam. And that's what they're doing. And right now we're going through another Islamic swarm is what we're going through. Because this happened in the past. You know that the entire Middle East was Christian, right? Lebanon, Libya, Syria, all Christian, all of it. Right. And then all of a sudden, the Muslims came and started slaughtering people because they weren't Muslims. They were told that they either had to submit to Islam or they could leave or they could stay and pay a tax, but they would have their heads cut off in the beginning. They didn't even give them a choice. They just said, acquiesce or die. A lot of people died. What's up, Bass? Shit. Yeah. And so what happened was, the Christians let it go on in the Holy Land for over 400 years. And then one day, what was it, Pope Innocent? He came out and said, you know what? Enough of this bullshit. We're going to stop them because we have to stop them. And so to this day, depending on who you're talking to, the Muslims will say, well, the Christians, they stole our land. No, they were reclaiming land that was theirs, that was taken away by brute force. You think about it, what is it, 400 years Spain was run by Muslims, right? They were taken over. What were they?
Rich, I got to interrupt here. Have a look at the chat. Have a look at Larry-W7Z2.
Yeah. It sounds like Nelson.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It was sounding like Nelson. I'm letting him get away with it. Narcissistic baby boomers are you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not just, yeah. Let's just put a stop to that.
Yeah. We're just going. Sorry, Nelson. I knew it was you, but I thought that you would like grow up, but I guess not. So, all right. You're out. See you. Yeah, I was hoping he would
Just stop.
Yeah, I was hoping he would, but oh well. He did. He usually comes in now and he says a few stupid things and then he stops. But he didn't want to this time. That's all right. He'll come in with another fake name. So let's see, where are we? Thankfully, over time, that lie is falling apart. And last night, it crumbled even more. And nowhere is that happening more than in Germany, where Angela Merkel's refugees welcome era is still slicing and dicing Germany to a pulp. Generosity really quickly turned into mass disorder, societal insecurity, and a cultural horror show. And the realization that their left-wing leaders treated their nations like social experiments. People are finally saying out loud that cultures are different. Those differences matter. And there is nothing evil about think about it, guys. England was the great empire, right? I mean, you guys invented the white man, right? But I mean, seriously, England was the greatest empire in its day ever known, beyond anything we ever saw. And now your leaders, for whatever reason, I think it's money, are letting that culture go away. What is it, like 32% of people in England now are Muslim, or in London or something like that? That's crazy. And it's not going to get better. Oh, no, it's not going to get better.
Yeah, I don't know about London, but my understanding is that about 30% of France is Muslim.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. I mean, I watched Tucker Carlson. He had a documentary on it, and they come through Spain, a lot of them. And Spain has it all set up to get them to London. They go from Spain to London, then from London to everywhere else. And it's all money related. They're getting shit tons of money per person coming in. You got to wonder, why are they doing it? Why? Because they think that their society is declining and they just want to manage that decline. Is that what it is? I don't know. But at least the people are, I think the people there were awake all along, except the lefties. But I think the normal people in Europe, in England particularly, were I mean, listen to the people that go into 40s stream. I mean, these people are like common sense, soul to the earth people. They know what the fuck's going on. But how are you going to say something when your own government will lock your ass up for tweeting out a meme that offends Muslims? Think about it. You could do time in prison for sending out an offensive meme to Muslims. Meanwhile, your daughters and your wives are being raped by those same people that are offended by a fucking meme. Think about that. How crazy is that? But the people are finally saying, you know what? Fuck that. We can speak up. We can speak up. More and more people will speak up. Guys, I call it the beach ball effect. The beach ball effect is when you hold a ball underwater, you feel that pressure to come up, right? The government is pushing the ball underwater and the people are underwater. And what happens is eventually the ball gives way because you can't keep the government like a person can't. They run out of energy after holding it underwater for so long. They have to let go and it comes up. And that's exactly what's going to happen in Europe if you guys keep the pressure up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let me read a couple more of these. Honestly, that's how it should be. The differences are what make the world interesting. But the left wanted to flatten all of that into one borderless global mush pot and then scold everyone when the clashes started. But people aren't lab rats, are they? They're now living with the consequences of this failed ideological experiment, and many of them are over it. That's what these results out in Germany and France are really showing. Europe is waking up. The old taboos are starting to break. And you know who the first ones were that said, not doing it? The old Soviet bloc countries. Hungary, right? Think about it. Poland, Viktor Orban. He you know why? Because they were under Soviet rule. What's different from Soviet rule to Islam? A different kind of hatred, a different kind of totalitarianism, locking your ass down, throwing you in gulags, killing your ass, right? I mean, they were like, no, we're not doing that again. No. So they're not a part of it, right? And think about that. They don't bring them in. Well, they should have shown the rest of the countries there. You don't have to bring them in either. You know, but they were making shit tons of money. I want to know the people who are paying the money, why are they doing this? Right? Why? The old taboos are starting to break, and the best news is that young voters are rejecting the stale ruling class hooey they were told to mindlessly inherit without question. The German left-wing parties are slipping, and the right-wing AfD, which is gaining, which they tried to destroy. And even in Western Germany, where the establishment has a vice grip. Left-wingers who spent a decade or more defending the status quo are now bleeding support, while right-wingers are growing. People are getting tired of being told to embrace decline. Remember Obama? Like every time something else was like he destroyed some other norm, he would say, well, this is the new normal. You know, he was supposed to manage the decline of the United States. Trump comes in and proves all those managed decline a-holes wrong in 4 short years, right? All right. People are getting tired of it. They're told to embrace the decline and that their moral duty is to adapt to soaring crime, rape, and disrespect of their nation and traditions. Like we said, this isn't just older voters grumbling about change. Young German voters are starting to move in a different direction, and that should terrify the left. Look at this. Holy shit. The AfD was the most popular party amongst the 18, 24-year-olds in today's West Germany. Look at that. AfD. Look at that. You gotta love it. That result, you all right?
Yeah.
I don't see you, but I hear things. That result cuts through the left's mainstay like a hot knife through butter. That young people naturally belong to them forever. Nope. Young voters can see the housing crisis, economic strain, their cultural unraveling, soaring crime, and the elite lies. The old slogans are stale. The gains may surprise the media, but to regular people who have watched their countries collapse, this isn't a shocker. It's long overdue. And I think it's because the people who watch their countries collapse under this immigration shit, they know that it could have been stopped. They know it could still be stopped before it's too late. At some point, it's not going to be able to be stopped. But they know it can be stopped. But yet, instead of stopping it, they're just continuing to allow it to happen. Look at that. They're just going to take out. Let's see, what is this? I wouldn't believe it. Germany wants their country back. Let's see what they
muss
say.
ich sagen, das ist der 18 Uhr Jubel den Spitzenkandidaten Jan Bollinger, der da
awesome.
die Reden untergeht und Glück.
You know, and naturally, you know, the establishment, like they do for us, the MAGA America First, you know, we're the cretins. We don't believe in law and order. We don't believe January 6th, you know, we don't believe in law and order. We just want to destroy the country. Meanwhile, we're the only ones that give a shit about the country here. You know, it's just unreal what these effing people want. I'm going to put another video up. Let me see what I can do. Let's see if we got a couple funny ones. Trans identified it. This is awesome.
Yeah, I've seen this.
I don't think he's trans at all. I think he said that. Fact checkers. I think he just said it. Where do you guys see this? This happened in a courtroom, and you're going to see it all. This guy here in the dark blue, he's a lawyer, and he's an annoying punk, and he puts the judge over the edge. And the judge was being a judge, but she was cutting him break after break. You got to watch this. It's awesome. All right, here we go.
Put that point of view to the exact paragraph. It's her education.
Stop.
Because you don't want to hear
what
the argument is.
Do you hear him talking back? You don't. And when a judge in the United States, guys, says stop, yes, ma'am, you stop. This asshole didn't. That was his first mistake.
You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
wipe that smirk off.
I don't have a
your
smirk
face.
on my face.
Oh, yes, you
I
do.
do not.
I am not going to tolerate this from you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Fill out the request, get the form from our court clerk's office on the second floor, make sure it comports with what you've got already. Get it filed, mailed in, whatever you need to do. Let us assess her request. If it's,
My client's not seen her child. There is no order in this court, and there's been no jurisdiction found that this court has jurisdiction over this child who has never lived in your county.
The other guy standing there, he's the
There was a
prosecutor.
pause. There was a break. I wasn't done with my arguments.
and I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again.
Look at this.
Do not throw your.
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are.
He didn't even put, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Watch.
I wasn't done with my arguments.
And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again.
He didn't even put it on the bench.
Do not throw your.
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not.
Hey, this guy's an asshole, guys. He's flirting with disaster. The bench is what he's talking about. That's considered the bench. Okay. The desk. All right. He didn't even touch the desk.
True, ma'am.
Sir, you've got a room full of witnesses.
I do. I put it down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall.
Then settle down.
I'm not upset and I'm not arguing. You're not letting me make an argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not.
So our court reporter cannot get what we're both saying.
I am trying to make my argument. You interrupted my argument halfway through
This
on
is
an
a panic button
objection.
that will get every available deputy in.
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware. It's happened to me before.
Yeah, because you're an a-hole.
Yes.
You're out of line.
Yes,
Here we go.
I guess so.
Okay.
It's
If I
coming.
push that
Or maybe
button-
because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state.
I don't know what you
You
are.
do, ma'am. It's not. You do.
I don't know whether
You do,
you're.
ma'am.
I don't think he's true. I think he just said it.
You have just now
No, ma'am,
advised me,
you
and
do.
that doesn't have.
And plus, what does that have to do? She just said, I don't know what you are. So his argument that you're only doing this because I'm trans, no, it doesn't work anymore like that. She didn't know what he was, but he's saying he's trans. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You do.
Anything to
It's
do
happened
with
when we
anything.
talked on the phone.
And what does that matter?
That wasn't talking, let me tell you. You were entirely inappropriate.
You were yelling at
So-
me, and I did not even know you were the judge.
And I didn't know you from Adam.
I said,
At that
my name
point.
is Rob Hopkins. I'm
Which
an
doesn't
attorney
mean
in Oklahoma
Yeah,
City.
what does that
So
mean?
you did not.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no one there to know that, right?
Okay. So we are pausing this until you get the ADA request form filled out and it gets processed.
So we're going to pause the hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice. I drove an hour and a half to have the hearing. My client's available telephonically, and we are simply not even taking testimony.
Is your client available telephonically?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Your Honor, which we would object. This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant for stealing.
Objection, hearsay. That's not true. And you're ready
You
to
were wrong, sir.
Don't come at me and shout me or shout at me.
Watch this.
No, we're stopping.
You know, it's really good strategy.
Get out of my face, sir. Get out of my.
See how he put his hands in his pockets because he doesn't want the camera to show him hitting him. He's trying to protect himself.
Face, sir.
You may say
Get
that.
out of my face.
He's not in your face.
Get out of my face.
Here we go. It's
Here
over.
we go.
Get out of my face.
People, my friend, you're being ugly.
And get out of my
It gets
face.
good.
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
He shouted at me. No,
He didn't
I'm not.
shout.
You did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
No, I'm not
Judge,
that
I
nice stuff.
apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person. Not getting screaming and yelling in court. I've never even heard that before in this courtroom.
Now, let me make a suggestion. You go to
Do
court,
not hurt me.
realize
hurt
that it's
me.
very poor strategy to yell at
Do
the
not.
judge.
You're throwing me over this.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
is.
resisting.
It's dumb to yell at a
You
judge.
know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you walk that way sometime?
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
Just stop. Settle down, walk that way.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not grab me. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me. You're hurting me. You're resisting me. You just It doesn't me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
I don't know if I should be showing this. It gets even worse, guys. I think I'll get dinged if I show any more.
Yeah.
Fact check ours. This was just the bailiffs subduing a man that was held in contempt by a judge. Yeah, I can't show anymore because I will
Yelling-
definitely.
Yelling at the judge and wrestling
not-
with the bailiffs. That's
Don't
good
put that
strategy.
on your resume. See,
That's
you know what
good.
it is? If he really is trans, then he's part of that whole ritual. Is that he's part of the whole ritual that says, well, I can get away with anything.
Yep.
Because society's on my side, not really understanding.
Yeah, and then
Brian Stelter, attorney at law. That's awesome, Bobby.
You didn't get to the
Vinny
to
get
that
the
part.
bat.
You didn't get to that part, but he screamed that he wanted a woman bailiff.
Right. He wants a woman security person to grab him. They're like, why?
I thought you were a man. What, you know, it's amazing how the logic actually falls apart.
Yeah.
And even in their own, you know, it's like they start talking about 87 different genders, and then okay, but
hey, it's 72, bigot.
Oh well, I'm sorry, I'm uneducated, but then the person wants to be trans, and you ask them what that means, and they want to be the other gender. Okay, let's back up. You want to be what? You're one gender. You want to be the other gender. So you're saying there's two? No.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? And that's just nuts. Now, this guy, man. I mean, you just don't do that. You know. Oh, here we go. I'm going to show you Jesse Ventura, who is still not. Remember him?
Yeah, governor of Minnesota.
He's still nuts. All right, he's on Piers Morgan. And wait to hear some of the things he says. So.
Yeah, I didn't think he was this nuts.
Oh, yeah, he's still nuts. I even put on there. He's still. Piers Morgan baffled as Jesse Ventura says Trump faked assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. Here we go. So I don't even have to read it. I'm just going to get right to it.
Well, you think it was fake?
Anyway.
Come on. Hold on.
This just looks like a catastrophe.
What the hell was that? Hold on.
That's coming up.
Yeah, here we are.
Well, you think it was fake?
Anyway.
Hold on.
And subpoenas and investigations for the next 2 years.
Oh, so it was all the way. I'm
this.
sorry.
Really? Well, you would run for
Plans
president?
may be in the works.
I mean, he can't run for president again. So what would that involve?
Well, you'll have to find out. Wait and see. I'm not going to spill it here.
You're not going to crash.
But I'll put it to you this way. Wait. Piers, I'll put it to you this way. We withstood the onslaught of the Gestapo in Minnesota. Well, I was taught in war to do this. You ensure that your backyard is secure. That's the first thing you do. Well, Minnesota's now secure. We've repelled the onslaught from Trump. Now it's time for us to go on the offense. So maybe it's time to send the Navy SEAL to Washington. Maybe it's time for a showdown between the Vietnam veteran and the draft dodger.
Do you actually mean a physical confrontation? Or?
No, but if he wants it, he's in the Hall of Fame. Let's both get in the ring.
I mean, there is a UFC.
After all, he's in the Hall of he's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he?
Right. I mean, there is
even though he's never ever had a match.
Right. There is a UFC whole event going on imminently at the White House. Maybe they could extend it and have you against Trump.
Do you think he'd have the guts to do that? Are you kidding me?
Well, when he got
this guy,
when he got shot, Jesse. To be fair to Trump,
wait a minute, Piers.
To be fair to Trump, when he got shot,
I'm going to tell you.
When he got shot, he got back up and said, "Fight."
Here we go.
Oh yeah, right. You ever hear of a blade job? Anyway,
a blade? What, you think he was fake?
Anyway,
there you go.
I don't know. Where's his scar today?
Somebody died literally sitting behind him.
I don't know. You know, come on, Piers. You're going to tell me this guy's a big hero now?
I thought that day he was.
What you're gonna tell me?
That day he was.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, well, he accomplished what he wanted out of you guys.
No, I think you can be heroic on one day and you can be less heroic on others. But if you ask me, was he heroic when he got shot? Yeah, and I think those who try to pretend he wasn't actually shot or anything, it's ridiculous.
You're right. You know what I feel bad about was that if he'd have joined us in Vietnam, we might have won, huh?
See, now what does this is the kind of lunatic the left are. What does Vietnam have to do with him being shot?
No.
He could have put us. Why did he run and hide when he could have joined us and led us to victory?
I don't think anything would have changed the fortunes of the United States in that war.
Right.
Yeah, probably not, considered he called us all suckers, didn't he?
No, he didn't. That was another lie.
What would you say to Trump if you had a chance to speak to him?
I'd prefer not to speak with him. I don't have really. What would I say to him?
I don't know.
You know, he's. You know, to me, he has no courage. He never has. I'll tell you what he is, Piers. Everybody knows these people. You're with
everybody knows. When you hear people say everybody knows,
a group of guys, and there's always one guy who will start the fight and then hold your coat. That's Donald Trump.
How did Donald Trump ever do that?
He'll start the fight, but he'll hold your coat.
No.
And then the next day he'll tell everybody.
No, he'll say fight, fight, fight when he gets shot in the ear.
How tough he was.
Jesse Ventura, it's great to see you've lost none of your fighting spirit in the many years since I last interviewed you. Thank you very much for coming on.
Piers, you see, Piers could have gone on for another hour with this clown, but did you see the look on his face when he goes, he's going like that, and he goes, Jesse Ventura, always good to see you. Like, he wants to get him the hell off because the guy's a lunatic.
Yeah, it's like, we're done.
When he first came on the scene, I thought, you know what, he was kind of a refreshing voice from like the Rhino establishment and the Democrat establishment.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he was a
lunatic.
Rhino never Trumper.
Oh yeah, a lunatic. Oh yeah.
I guess I never paid attention to him. You know, he was in a couple of movies like with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's about as much as I wanted to know about him.
Right.
You know, he was governor of Minnesota, and I didn't pay much attention to him then.
Yeah.
He really didn't make much sense, the little I did.
Oh, I know.
So,
Let me see. What do we got? I don't much like Trump either. Covering for what?
PDFs.
Oh, pedophiles.
Yeah.
See, I don't believe that, but I mean, you're allowed to have your own war, starting wars of aggression.
Okay. Is
But
this,
Venezuela is nuts. Wait a minute. What? No,
is
Jeffrey's cool. No, Jeffrey's cool. Jeffrey's
Okay.
been here before. Yeah, he's a good guy. But yeah, we have a lot of a-holes that come in. But Jeff, like, what war of aggression? Are you talking about Iran?
and
Because before you got in, we were reading that European leaders just realized that he was right, that it was an imminent threat because what was it, Garcia? What is it, Diego Garcia? They fired a rocket that was like 4,000 miles away, okay, which meant that they were lying all along with their fatwa. Ayatollah Khomeini with his fatwa saying, "Oh, we're not allowed to fire more than 2,000 miles, well, kilometers." And here they fired when they just fired on Diego Garcia. It was like over 4,000 miles away. So they were lying about that, right? They lied about it. They lie about everything, right? And there's intel that they're not going to give us yet, all right, because it's still a live thing. But they had a plan to hit the United States, and it was a very involved plan. Yeah, they can hit Europe. They can right now. They could hit California. They said that they could hit some cities in California right now.
And you'll have to educate me on what pedophiles that he's been protecting.
Yeah,
And
he didn't
he's-
protect any pedophiles.
No, he's the one who turned in Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, you're right. You know what's really funny? On Facebook, the libnuts are all calling him a pedophile.
Oh,
But
no,
the
no,
fact that
they call him a documented pedophile.
Right. But the fact of the matter is that what we've learned from the Epstein files is that it was Donald Trump who turned him in to the police, and Donald Trump who helped them get a conviction. And he also worked with the feds. I don't know what pedophiles he's protecting. Can enlighten us, please.
And
Tell me.
Clinton, in his testimony to Congress,
Right.
and he admitted to being around all these guys, and he said he never saw Trump do squat
Well,
wrong.
he literally said Trump did absolutely nothing wrong.
He did nothing inappropriate.
Yeah.
Even Bill Clinton said that.
Yeah, Clinton said it. I don't know if it's Jeffrey from Ohio. It's just I know Jeff Russell. He used to come in and he used to watch the videos all the time.
Yeah, again, Jeff Russell, you'll have to come up with some details because no,
You tea drinker.
it isn't true.
Yeah, there's no way he's protecting pedophiles, dude. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you there. You can think what you want, but
you're falling for CNN and BS.
Yeah, it's nonsense because he's the one. Like they said that Jeffrey Epstein, that the proof of it is Jeffrey Epstein wrote that Donald Trump was the most despicable person I've ever known. Okay, so you hear that from Jeffrey Epstein, you have validity to it, but the fact of the matter was, we find out that the reason he wrote that and was so fucking angry was because that was the day that he found out that Donald Trump was the reason he was sitting in prison. It was the reason he was sitting in prison. And our Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, did a little faux pas. He pointed out that Trump was an informant for the FBI to go after before he was president, to go after Epstein. He then had to walk it back and say, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize he wasn't an informant, but he did contact the FBI and said, you have to look at what this guy's doing. And this Ghislaine Maxwell, his girlfriend, she's really bad news and all that." So there's no way that I just can't believe that he was protecting pedophiles. He would never do that.
So Jeff Russell, you know, obviously everybody gets to believe what they want, but no, there's simply
the facts just don't support it, man. You know what supports? You know what supposed facts are? It's the left wing that wants to trash Trump like they always did, and they must have gotten the facts vaccine as kids, because now they don't get facts as adults.
Yeah,
they don't get facts. You know, that's just the way it is. I'm sorry. You know, I know. You know, people want everybody to be on that bandwagon, but I can't be. Not Trump would never do something like that.
You probably don't want to post it, but look what Jimmy from Philly did in the chat.
What did he do? My brother, what did he do? Hang on. Jeffrey is a tea drinking homosexual. Yeah, well, they say he's alive, and they now have proof of it, that he's still alive, because number one, you heard about the ear, right? I don't want to make this a Jeffrey Epstein thing because we did enough of that shit. But you saw when they wheeled Epstein out and they had the blanket, like the sheet over his head, well, his ear was showing. Wasn't his ear. Number two, you heard about he had his prostate removed. The guy that was supposedly Jeffrey Epstein, according to the coroner, had a prostate. You don't grow a prostate back. It was not Jeffrey Epstein. And we have the guard who was in the prison that night that he was removed. He said, we saw other guards that were walking him in a wheelchair, and he went out the doors, the double doors that go out, when a black, not van, SUV pulled up, means government. And he goes, guys got out in military uniform, and he got into the van. They took off. He goes, came back. He goes, I was there all morning, like from 3 o'clock in the morning all the way until like noon. He goes, he never came back. And he goes, and all of a sudden we hear that he killed himself. So I think he's alive. I think they got him out.
Yeah, but you know, I don't think we'll ever know.
I don't think we will either.
I can believe that somebody would have wanted to get him out because he knew too many people in too many big places.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, here, we're going to do the Atlanta airport now.
What's going on at Atlanta airport?
Oh, well, it's a before and after. So Atlanta airport and after video shows what ICE actually changed. And this is all because of the freaking Democrats. Let me read a little bit on it. Dems have done it again, folks. Another one of their shutdown games has ended the same way these things always do. Regular, everyday Americans getting stuck with the misery, while the left-wing politicians who are responsible pretend none of it's their fault. Do you know, Dr. J, do you know this? That while these people are standing in line for 3 hours in most cases just to get on the plane, right? They're standing in line for 3 hours. A politician from Washington, within 5 minutes, they're on the plane. They don't have to stand in line like that. They got these special, they drive vehicles like whatever they are. They're not the golf carts. They're different vehicles that they get in, and they take them down certain parts of the building, the airport, in special places like DC, where they don't have to see the people. They don't have to touch them or smell those smelly Walmart Trump voters, right?
Yeah.
They don't have to put up with that. Within 5 minutes, they're on the plane. There's no waiting. While everybody that has to wait for 3 hours, it's because of them, and these pricks don't have to wait for it. So screw them. So I'll start again. Dems have done it again, folks. Another one of their shutdown games has ended the same way these things always do. Regular, everyday Americans getting stuck with the misery, while the left-wing politicians who are responsible pretend none of it is their fault. This time, the Dems' shutdown stunt turned into horrific lines, long waits, and travel chaos at major U.S. airports, all because the party that claims to care so much about working people once again decided illegals and politics mattered more than competence and the American people. Senator Chris Murphy thinks the American people's first priority is illegals. Senator Chris, let's listen to this idiot with this other idiot from More Silly Nonsense by Fix.
Didn't have a path to citizenship. It was entirely on their terms in order to get Ukraine funding, right?
Well, I mean, Chris, that's been a failed play for 20 years. So you are right that has been the Democratic strategy for 30 years, maybe. And it has failed to deliver for the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are.
You know what he said, guys? Let's go back to that. Listen to what he says about who he cares
for.
More.
The people we care about most, the undocumented Americans that are in this country.
First of all, don't call them Americans if they're undocumented.
Did you
hear that? The Democrat literally said on TV, the people we care about most, the undocumented Americans.
Yeah. He kind of stumbled over that too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So let's, what's this? Yeah, here we go. So, oh my gosh, the Atlanta TSA line is so long that is not just wrapped around baggage claim, but is wrapping around the outside of the freaking building. I'm hearing that people waited in line for 6 hours last night and still missed their flights. That's Atlanta, guys, which is, you guys overseas, Atlanta is the hub for Delta Airlines. You can get a flight out of there anytime, okay? They have an amazing subway system in the Atlanta airport because it goes miles long, and they're clean trains. They come like every so many minutes. And I was there. I met with Mark one night, Mark Davis. We had dinner down there because we were talking about something political. So I was in the air, so I flew down there and I met with him, and I was on their train. I was like, holy, look at this. It's clean. And I thought I was in the Soviet Union at the time. It was so clean, right? But but we had dinner. Like they have restaurants, like nice restaurants too, in the subway, right? It's clean as anything. It's not dirty at all. You would not believe it was a subway, but it was in the airport. But you know, you can get a Delta flight out of there anytime. But now 6 hours in line, that is insane. So let's see. 3:23:26, 5:02 a.m. Look at the line. And then ICE came in. So we'll see that now. Let's go down. Well, let's see what Trump has.
Whose idea was that to put ICE in the airport?
We're dealing really.
Whose idea was it?
Mine. That was mine.
Can I ask you?
That was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple. And everybody that looked at it say, why didn't I think of that?
Right.
ICE was my idea. First person I called was Tom Homan. I said, what do you think? He said, I think it's great. Then I saw today there was some masks on. I didn't think the masks were appropriate. I put out a statement and I asked them, would it be possible to take off the mask? Because they should wear a mask when they're dealing with the murderers and the thugs let into our country.
So guys, let's talk about this, okay? So who are the ones? This is such a great campaign ad. Donald Trump and the Republicans and his cabinet are the ones that are trying to help the federal employees that are really trying to do their job in airports, and they're not getting paid because Democrats want the SAVE Act to go away because they want illegal aliens to be able to vote.
Rich,
my God.
I listened to Hakeem Jeffries. That's not how it is at all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat, for anybody.
Oh, yeah. But the fact of the matter is that you see one side says, wait a minute, we don't want illegals voting. The other side says, well, you know what? The Republicans are going to keep the government shut down if they don't give us what we want, which is we want the SAVE Act to go away because it's racist and all the bullshit that they say it is, right? Meanwhile, 83% of Americans are for it, and that includes Democrats and independents. And they say, and they're arguing that Trump's the one that's wrong. Okay, so now ICE agents are there. They're arriving. Okay, so now they've arrived. So now I can confirm TSA wait. They have dropped dramatically this morning. The lines no longer wrap around the baggage carousels, nor do the lines go outside. This is a massive improvement. Trump really did it. Unreal. Let's watch.
So, but to be honest, this is decent, guys.
Compared to what it was. Oh, man, the video, they make such hype out of videos that are not that big. So let's see what this one says. CNN was just forced to report that ICE agents helped TSA lower Atlanta airport wait times down below an hour. That's normal, guys. You can see ICE agents behind me right there. Yeah, they're right there on the right. And some more over here. They've been doing patrols. This frees up TSA for screening. Yep.
Agents there, what have you been seeing them doing?
Here we go.
Finally, we can take a deep breath here. The numbers have dropped off. The lines are getting shorter. I think the average wait time now is under 40 minutes. So if you have a flight to catch today, it's a good time to come to Hartsfield-Jackson International. Talking about those ICE agents, you can see a few behind me right there. And then I'm going to walk you this direction, and you can see some more of them gathered over here. This is what they've been doing for the most part today, is doing the patrols around the airport, talking and gathering. Not really helping the public in the sense of they're not taking tickets from anybody.
Right.
Interacting with the public. We've seen.
They're doing this shit that the TSA. Look, guys, this is what really happened. Okay, they went a month without pay. Some of them are still working. Many of them walked off the job. They have to feed their kids, their wives, families, husbands, whatever. They got to feed their families, so they had to find other jobs. Right. So when you lose like 30-40% of the team, then the guys that are still there have to actually cover all the work. So instead of just taking tickets and doing, the airport security and all that shit, they got to go and do other things that TSA did that keeps the flow going normal. Well, they weren't there. They didn't have them. They had to put them on the most important thing, which was, checking for bombs, weapons, shit like that. So ICE comes in. See, they tried to say, ICE is going to arrest illegals that are, well, why wouldn't they? They're ICE, right? But they covered, it's just like when we had the military, the National Guard come in, like to LA. And what they were doing is they weren't going to help ICE knock on doors and capture. What they were doing was they were protecting ICE in the zones where the libnuts who were told by their Democrat leaders that they had to go after ICE. They were protecting them from those idiots so that they could do their job. And that's what ICE is doing, pretty much the same thing. They're doing things so that the real TSA who are trained for it, and they, the left was, ICE is not trained for it, because they're going to be doing what they normally do. They're going to be, because federal agents don't just go out to somewhere and they just go in and do it. They got to have people that are watching the perimeter for them as well. And that's what they did here.
So far, they're not checking anyone's ID.
Right.
At the TSA.
They're not doing any of that. So again, the left is full of crap.
This is my surprised face.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like TSA either, but you know what? When you got guys that like to scream Allah in the middle of the air at 30,000 feet, it's kind of nice to have them there. Pain in the ass and all, but you know what? I don't fly that much anyway, so I don't give a shit. But I feel for people that have to wait in line, but still, I think you don't have to take your shoes off anymore. I think they took that away. And that was only there because that one idiot was hiding a bomb in his shoe. Crazy, man. Let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah, Gavin Newsom gets the middle finger. Always got to play that, right?
Oh, anytime somebody gives the finger to Gavin, I want to hear about it.
Yeah. This is Life Zet. Chevron gives Gavin Newsom the middle finger with driver-friendly move. Why is that not going away? Chevron will be purchasing oil from Sable Offshore Corporation, a Houston-based company, in a move that comes as California remains locked in a legal dispute with the Trump administration over energy policy and offshore production, as reported by the New York Post. According to Bloomberg, Chevron plans to initially buy 20,000 barrels of oil per day sourced from offshore platforms near Santa Barbara. The development follows recent federal approval, allowing production to restart in the area. Chevron executive Andy Walls confirmed the company's plan, stating, "We're going to run Sable's crude at El Segundo in April." The refinery located in the Los Angeles area has a capacity to process approximately 269,000 barrels per day and is expected to handle the incoming supply. Sable Offshore Corporation announced on March 16th that it had resumed operations at its Santa Barbara offshore platforms. The restart marked the first time oil has been sent through the region's pipeline since 2015, a system that has faced years of environmental opposition. The libnuts are all out there doing it. The production restart followed an executive order signed by President Trump invoking the Defense Production Act. I remember that. I did a story on that. The Cold War era law allows the federal government to accelerate production of critical resources, including oil and gas. In response, California filed a lawsuit, because of course they did, challenging the federal action. State officials argued the order illegally asserts exclusive jurisdiction over 2 California onshore oil pipelines and prioritizes donors over people and communities. How? They're allowing them to pump. California Attorney General Rob Bonta, guilty, addressed the legal challenge, stating, quote, "The Attorney General is seeking to halt Sable's unlawful restart of California's onshore oil pipelines that are subject to state regulation and oversight. California is unwavering in our commitment to protect our coastline and our public health." The statement continued. "We're looking forward to vigorously litigating our case in court." Now, how come the libnuts, the same libnuts who love the fact that Joe Biden practically shut down the oil wells, he shut down the permits. They weren't giving the new ones out. But there were like 9, they said, wow, there's like 9,000 permits per region that are out there. Yeah, and many of them expired, and many of them were in areas. You just buy the permits because you don't want your competitor to do it. But they're in areas where they did surveys, and there's not really any oil or gas there for now until technology gets better and they can maybe find it easier, right? So when you say like 9,000 per region, it's horse shit. Okay, which is why, I mean, if they had 9,000 already, why would they be asking for more? Because they do exploration all the time. And with fracking, it's even more so that they need the permits. And Biden said, fuck that, it's a federal thing. So why is it a federal thing when you want to go the opposite way, in the way of the libnuts, the environmentalist wackos? But when it's the other way around, when you want people to be able to, live comfortably, everything, look around you, man. Everything's made of oil, just about everything. Right? The office of Governor Gavin Newsom has not issued a public response to the latest development. You know why? Because he's running for president. And he doesn't want to sound like a bigger idiot than he always is. Let's see what, there we go. It's only a minute 20. Goes to. So let's see. What is this?
Talk about your announcement this past week. On Friday, the Treasury Department lifted sanctions on Iranian oil stored on tankers.
I like this guy. Don't like her.
Allow Iran to get more than $14 billion of oil revenue. Why is the U.S. helping?
You hear what she just did? Like she doesn't want him to talk.
That it's currently at war with, Mr. Secretary.
Again, Kristen, why don't we have good facts here? That Iranian oil was always going to be sold to the Chinese. It was going to be sold at a discount. So which is better, Kristen? Which is better? If oil prices spiked to $150 and they were getting 70% of that, or oil prices below 100, it's better to have them where they are now. And to be clear, we had always planned for this contingency. About 140 million barrels are out on the water. In essence, we are jujitsuing the Iranians. We are using their own oil against them. We have a much better line of sight, to be clear, at Treasury when this oil goes to. If it goes to Indonesia, if it goes to Japan, if it goes to Korea, we have a much better line of sight and are able to block accounts that the oil goes into. When it goes into China, it completely gets recycled. So to be clear, that 14 billion number is grossly overstated.
Right. Because she's a liar.
Yeah, I'm starting to like Scott Bissett. He's very smart.
Oh, yeah, I like him a lot. Well, if we're going to do this, we need to get that straight up. Well, actually, I don't like war either. And I liked Trump where he said no new long wars, forever wars, right? I don't think this is going to be a forever war. But the fact is that there was intelligence out there that said we had to do it now. You think about it. Since 1979, every American president, Republican or Democrat, has said, oh, they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they kicked the fucking can down the road. And so Trump's here and he has intel that literally, we just read a story earlier that it proves it, that they were much farther along with their capabilities. Now, Marco Rubio also mentioned a couple of weeks ago, he said, okay, so now they're making, what is it, 600? I think it's six. No, it's six. Is it 6,000 or 600 missiles a month? What is it? 600. It's probably 600. But they have over 10,000 already. But when they hit a certain number, you can no longer stop them from their nuclear program. I mean, you can only stop them from the nuclear program if we bomb the shit out of them, or if Israel comes up with another scheme to knock them back a few years, like they did with Stuxnet and several other things, right? But the fact of the matter is they have to be taken out because they keep telling us death to America. We want them because we want to blow you up. And I happen to want to believe them when they talk. So why not knock them out now? You have to, because no other president is going to do it. Because there's too many pussies out there that don't want to do it for whatever reason, but it has to be done.
Yeah, that's
because the minute, look, they don't even have to, I'm sorry, they don't even have to fire them. They could hold the entire world for ransom. They could tell everybody, you're going to do what we want to do, or we're going to blow your ass up. Right? I mean, that's what they can do now.
But the fact that Trump is different, that's the whole thing that the Iranians are counting on, because they're counting on he's the only president that would do this because he's the only president that's ever done it. And all we got to do is hang out for the next 2.5 years. And there'll be another guy that will go back to status quo, business as usual. And they'll just send us more pallet loads of American currency to shut us up.
A boat person. Yeah, I hear you. And you're right. Let's go to the next one. It's a boring meal. We know that. As a year-old veteran. Yeah, we're going to do that. It's just, how sad is that? Veteran, 83-year-old veteran, randomly shoved onto the New York subway tracks, dies from injuries. Illegal immigrant charged. Gosh, we didn't see that coming. Wow. Look at this, the old man. Watch. This guy just walks up. Just as it's coming. Did we see it? Nah, I don't think they can show it. But I saw one earlier, a video of it. And the guy was just standing there, and you saw these two young black guys jump over the turnstile. Everybody does in New York. They jumped over the turnstile, and they weren't a part of it. They just started walking left, but then they stopped, I guess because that's where they're going to stand away for the train. And then you see this guy, it's illegal, come up. He's got a hoodie on, and he comes up, and he just goes behind him, shoves him. Seconds later, the train comes. There's no way he avoided it. He was crushed, probably broken into a million pieces. Oh, he suffered from, yeah, he didn't even know he suffered. Now, that's how fast it happened. But let me see, is the video there? Yeah, that's the scumbag. That's the Biden scumbag that he let in. Yeah, I have a let me take it to my Facebook page. I have a thing that I posted yesterday, and I mean every minute of it. Oh yeah, here. Okay. Nah, I don't have it. Damn. Oh well, sorry. So let me read a little bit of this, what this son of a bitch did. So we have the beloved 83-year-old U.S. Air Force veteran who was randomly shoved onto subway tracks by an illegal immigrant in Manhattan died from his injuries, and his alleged killer has been charged with murder. Now, the thing that's different about this one is they say, well, this guy wasn't a criminal other than he was here illegal. He didn't commit any crimes, right? Because the libnuts all say, well, ICE, you can't just go after somebody because they're here. Well, yeah, you can, because they broke the law coming in. They shouldn't be here. They're eating up our resources. They're committing crimes. Well, not all of them commit crimes. Well, this guy did not have a criminal record other than he committed a misdemeanor by coming in, right? And he committed a civil offense by staying here. Okay.
Wait a minute. What does this story say? The Manhattan District Attorney upgraded the charges against the alleged attacker.
Right. Honduran national.
A serial criminal with a lengthy rap sheet.
Of at least 15 charges is what they're saying. That's why this video didn't look like the other one. I said, were there two people that were pushed? I thought there was only one old guy that was shoved onto the tracks and died.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the story, so I'm a little confused.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can find. I want to see if I can find that.
Yeah, I think this is going to bog us down. Maybe you bring this back next week, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, we'll read it. We'll read it next week. Yeah. But let's see. Z sees his point. Tom Homan. Yeah, here's the dark secret Tom Homan reveals of Biden's immigration policy. Let's see. So it is. Tom Homan just revealed the dark secret inside Biden's immigration scam. This is one of the biggest immigration scams ever pulled on the American people. While Americans watched hordes of illegals flood over the border, they were told the chaos was just a messy humanitarian situation. But now Tom Homan is revealing something much darker. Yes, we know it was all deliberate. There's another disturbing layer you didn't realize until now. While Americans watched hordes of illegals flow across Biden's wide open border, while they told the border is secure, they told us this every day. They were told the chaos was just a messy humanitarian situation. But now Tom Homan, I thought I read that, Tom Homan is revealing something much darker. Yes, we know it was deliberate, but now it's purely diabolical, the plan. And if what Homan says is right, this was the biggest immigration scam ever pulled on the American people. This was about more than just inviting illegals into the country. Once here, Biden's regime had to make sure they stayed. So instead of placing these illegals in ICE beds, they paid more than double to have them in hotel rooms. And what happens when the federal government comes in, they pay more for the hotel room than the hotel was asking because they want that room, right? You're going to rent to the guy that's going to pay more, right? And so that caused prices around that city to go up because that's what happens. Let's see what this says. Biden faced an investigation over $87 million. You're probably wondering why Joe's regime would do such a thing, right? From the Heritage Foundation. The Biden administration is paying $2.5 billion in taxpayer funds for immigration and customs enforcement to have. This is back then when it was written. ICE provides them not only food and a bed, but medical and dental care. Wouldn't you like to have medical and dental paid for? Recreation and other and other services to meet higher standards than county detention systems, for example. However, the administration is not filling the beds in these facilities. It's choosing to bypass ICE and simply release the migrants onto the streets in many cases where they need to be housed in other facilities like hotels in American cities. And they trash the hotels. They're animals. So basically, the administration is paying for nice facilities which have a large amount of space available and also paying to put the migrants up in hotels. You believe this shit? So they're paying double what it should cost for illegals because they don't want to keep them with ICE. Because then they don't get to go out on the streets and murder people. Well, according to Tom Homan, if they placed them in ICE beds, the illegals would have a mandatory court date in about a month. So to make sure that didn't happen, Homan says the Biden regime placed them in hotels so they stayed in the dark and could move into our communities unnoticed. Wow, the people in the community noticed. Taxpayers foot the bill for fancy hotels while the government avoided ICE beds that would have triggered hearings and accountability. So when people look at this and start asking whether the whole thing was designed to flood the country, they're not crazy. Tom Homan just proved it. Here's Brandon Strock. No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. So let's see what he says.
And so many people, you know why the Biden administration released the United States? No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. Why did they release people into the interior of the United States and put them, rather than put them into an ice bed? Why not put them in an empty ice bed at $127 a night rather than in a hotel room at $500 a night? They did it on purpose, because when you put them in an ice detention bed, they get a hearing in 35 days. Court records show 9 out of 10 people claim asylum, get order removal, they're gone. But if you release them and put them in a hotel room at $500 a night, their hearings can be 5, 7, 9 years if you pull out all appeals. And what are they hoping for then?
Yep.
That another Democrat administration is in power. They can warrant amnesty to millions. It's about selling this country off for future political power. That's what it was.
Look at this.
The law clearly says if you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And
Not
that's
go to
what
a
President
hotel.
Trump's doing. Catch and release is over. That's what the law says, and that's what we've done. Releasing so many.
That's just unreal.
He should know.
Yeah, he should. They should go after Trump for this. Or Trump. They should go after Biden for this, and Alejandro Mayorkas. They're the ones that orchestrated that. Meanwhile, I fight for insurance for a simple rotator cuff surgery. Oh, I feel you, girl. Yeah. I feel you. I tore both of mine. It took me a year to get above that. Yeah, I hear you. Let me see. Yeah, he has done a great job. Absolutely. You know why? Because he did the job. Mayorkas didn't do shit. In fact, well, that's a lie. Mayorkas did everything he could to get more and more in here. And he was the guy. I played a video, I think it was last week, where it was in 2017 when Trump was in, but Biden was there talking to reporters. He was sitting at a table. I forget where he was. It was like a restaurant or something, but he was sitting at a table and he was saying to the reporters that by the year 2020, the white man in America will be an absolute minority. And that's not a bad thing. Oh, really? Why is it a good thing, Joe? Right? European white stock is going to be a minority. He kept saying absolute minority. All right. Right. And the little asshole sitting next to him was Alejandro Mayorkas. I was like, holy shit. He's sitting right there. He's probably a member of La Raza at the time. And that's why he put him in charge of DHS. Can you believe that shit? We had to put up with that.
And do you remember when Kamala stood up in front of the country and said, the border is closed?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, they said, so what do you say to the illegals that are constantly coming here? She said, don't do it. Oh, wow. Words of wisdom there. Don't do it. Oh, no, she said, don't. She said, don't.
She said, do not come.
Yeah, but she said, don't. When they said, well, what happens? What do you tell them if they're going to come? She says, don't. She didn't even say do it. She said,
no,
don't.
We must be talking about a different interview then, because I remember.
Yeah, whatever. But she said, don't.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I remember the one I saw. She said, how did it go?
Yeah.
Anyway, she basically just, and she said it twice. She just shook her head and she said, you know, for those thinking about coming, do not come. Do not come. And the joke, of course, was that was the only time she'd ever told anybody not to come.
Here we go.
The message to Iran.
Don't.
To Iran. Oh, that was to Iran.
One word. Pretty straightforward.
Don't. Yeah, that wasn't about. Okay, I was wrong.
Yeah, the one.
That was about Iran. Don't. That's her. And they're like, oh, no, Kamala said don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Jeff, that's not true either. She totally screwed up the Epstein thing. I'll give you that. Okay. I would have removed her for. Hold on. I would have removed her for that. But she's been doing all kinds of good work that nobody wants to talk about behind the scenes. She's setting up everything to take down the people that tried to take down Trump, the CIA. She's going after so many people. I think I did a video about her. I wrote a story about it. She's behind. She's kind of redeeming herself, but nobody wants to talk about it.
Share my screen. This is the one I'm talking about.
What's that? The Guardian. Okay.
How do I get this thing to play?
Just hit. No, that's just hit refresh.
I
Yeah,
want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods.
That's the important part.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know if you caught it earlier, but people say that's the only time she's told somebody not to come.
Fact checkers.
Talking about coming into the country. That's what we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. There you go. It's the first time Heels Up Harris ever said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll do another video. Let's see. Which one do I want to do? Snap cleanup, Tehran residents chant death to Khomeini. Yeah, here you go. This is good. You won't understand a word of it unless you speak their language, but it's pretty good. Hang on. Let me bring it in. Here it is. In Iran, and trust me, they would be killed. They'd be hung from a crane like 2 months ago. But again. That's a lot. Don't think that's nothing. That's a lot in Iran for them to do that.
Yeah, what are they shouting?
Huh? Death to Khomeini.
Yeah, okay.
That's what they're shouting. And they would have been murdered. There were 32,000 people that their military killed that were protesting not that long ago. Yeah. Let's see. Let me do another one. Where is it? Here, I'll bring it up. You tell me what you want to play. I'll bring the there we go. Down here, all these, they're all the videos.
I don't know, just because it looks like so the bottom one, just because it looks like it's just so.
Oh, the best steak? Yeah. You'll see. This one is my joke for the week.
This has got to be just.
All right, ready? You already get it, right? So here we go.
Making sandwiches until I get a boyfriend, part 93.
Now, I was told that there was food in this video. I don't see any food, guys. Gentlemen, do you see food in this video? I don't see any. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm like, what's she talking about? Steak.
Oh, there's food.
Where? I don't see food.
There, maybe. Yeah.
I'm trying to, but I just no.
There's food. There's food.
I just think it's hilarious how she's doing this. That's pretty good, though. You notice how the camera always got to take us slow, and then when they're passing, they move in real fast. Okay, that was great. All right, nobody cares. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Okay, next one. She put. Oh yeah, this is great. This is okay. Ready? This woman, people always stole at lunch at work. I guess they stole her lunch, so she put a ghost pepper in it. Here we go. Oh my God, they'll watch it again. We were looking like
And she not saying anything.
Nope, not say. In other words, it was her lunch that was stolen.
Yeah.
And this woman dying is the one that ate it.
she not saying a word.
Yep. No, she's just sitting there because think about it. The woman could get fired for stealing someone's lunch, so she ain't going to admit it. but she just admitted it. You gotta love it, man, when people pull that off.
Okay.
Which
Woman
one?
thinks time is racist. You have to play that one.
Oh yeah. This is good. It's a lib nut, obviously.
Obviously.
Right? Yeah, obviously.
We're
So
getting
it's-
away from hard news this week.
Yeah. I just want to, because we only have 25 more minutes. So here we go.
Hi, this is just a reminder that hustle culture is
Here we
prior
go.
to colonization, there was no structured idea of time in the sense that we have.
Time
Human
didn't
beings would
exist.
wake up, find food, eat the food, be in community with their tribes, and then go to sleep and do it again each day. There was no concept of being lazy. You didn't have to be productive to have worth in society. And now, if you can't work, even if you have a chronic health condition, physical, mental, or emotional, you are seen as subhuman. So yes.
No, subhumans wouldn't be getting our tax dollars to help them live.
While it's great to have goals and ambition, you have to be able to let yourself relax. Because if you don't, you are feeding into this system of white supremacy that is trying to literally steal your soul away from you. If you don't rest and
Where's your soul? How do they steal it?
recharge,
Don't take mine, because the weekend's coming and I've only got 2 left.
you will not be able
Last year, the kids didn't find my soul until Easter.
to maintain your goals and escape the system that is trying so hard to keep you down, especially if you are a member of a minority group. Your goal as a human being should be to connect with other people and to enjoy your life, not to contribute to a system financially. Your soul is far more important than your physical labor, so keep that in mind. Hi, this
Yeah.
is just your
The left's bastardization of religion again. Then we invented longitude. That was a while ago. I love that. That was a while ago. Yeah, I know. Like white supremacy. What the hell are they talking about? For real. Like, what the hell are they talking about? Let me bring another one up. Let's see. You can pick the next one. Go ahead. Which one?
Let's see. TikTok. What do we want to look at? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you know what?
What's that?
Want to talk about the illegal trucker crisis? Get something a little more serious for a minute?
Oh, you got it up there? Yeah. I see.
Middle of the top half of, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Exclusive.
Yeah, I was going to send this to my my cousin. He's a trucker. So, okay. So, is it showing? Yeah. Exclusive. Top Trump official sheds light on mess lying under hood of illegal trucker crisis. It was another thing where the left was making shit tons of money on a scam, and they didn't care who they harmed. That's what the Democrats do, and rhinos. But there were no rhinos involved in this. Derek Barr's new cleaning up the trucking industry. Let's start again with the hire. Derek Barr's new cleaning up the trucking industry would be a big job when President Trump gave him the task, having spent years cracking down on commercial drivers on the Florida Highway Patrol. Yet, even Barr's was surprised when he took the reins of the federal agency that manages the trucking industry, a crucial facet of the country's economy currently beleaguered with illegal migrant drivers who can't speak English, which means, guys, they can't read English signs on the road, and they're causing all kinds of hell and deaths. Shady companies skirting enforcement regulations, and hundreds of trucking schools handing out licenses, CDLs, like they're candy. Quote, "Don't get us wrong, we've always had problems," Barr said, as he's been heading the Transportation Department's, the DOT's Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Since his confirmation, right? We have seen an increase in non-domiciled CDLs, commercial driver licenses. So, and we've also seen an increase in what we believe are these chameleon carriers, Barr said. This is more than what I thought, and do not ever remember anything like this before. Issues surrounding the trucking industry took center stage in August when an Indian commercial driver was accused of making an illegal U-turn on a busy interstate. I showed a video like 2 weeks ago of one of them driving on the highway against the flow of traffic, and someone was filming him going, Jesus Christ, he's going to kill someone. Yeah. Okay, so the non-English speaking driver was later confirmed to be in the country illegally. How did he get How the hell did he get a CDL if he came here illegally? And a subsequent investigation revealed that he barely recognized U.S. highway signs, drawing into question if he was ever able to get his hands on a CDL, how he was able to in the first place. Since that Florida crash, numerous other horrific roadside accidents have occurred. You know what it is? They were happening all along, but because one was so horrific, the news hit it, and then the news is lazy to go, oh, we got another one, let's film them. And then it becomes, oh my God, this just happened. No, it's been happening all along. Nobody wanted to talk about it because it was mostly California that did it. Let me see, involving illegal migrant truck drivers, including a wreck in California that killed 3, a crash in Oregon that killed 2, and a horrific accident in Indiana that killed 4. All of the drivers successfully obtained non-domiciled CDLs before totaling their big rigs.
And you know, these sons of bitches are in these big trucks and they're not hurt at all.
Right. Well, there was another video I played where it was a cop that pulled the one over, and he had him by his vehicle, and he said, look, he brought him in the car and he says, I'm going to test you on something. He opened this book and it had traffic signs. He goes, what does that say? He goes, oh, stop. And he goes, oh, good. You got that one. That's very good. And he goes, okay, what does this one say? It was yield. He goes, oh, you don't know what that's, you can't read that sign? He goes,
yeah, it was 3 out of 4 of them that he couldn't understand.
Oh, yeah, it was 3 out of 4. Yeah, well, it was like he got stop, and that was it.
That's it.
He didn't know any others, right? Zero curriculum. After investigating the circumstances that led to the fatal crash in Florida, the DOT in September handed down severe restrictions against non-domiciled CDL holders. And you know what? Trump, this guy, I think he took out 17,000 CDLs from California alone. Because what it was, it comes down to, Democrats have donor friends, right? And so when they get in office, they have to pay them back. And the way they pay them back is by saying, like the guy says, oh, I want to create this trucking school. I'll make a shit ton of money and we can bring people in from other countries who want to get a CDL and we'll just make hand over fist cash. And you can create some program because Barack Obama, when he was president, he's the one that created all these pipelines for federal dollars to go to, like, you know, Somalis in Minneapolis and, you know, the schools to be opened up for CDLs in California, right? So the whole thing was set up as a scam to make shit tons of money. Didn't care what it would cause. They didn't even think about what it would cause, the havoc it would cause, and the deaths. Said rolling out new screening process and eliminating a loophole that previously allowed foreigners with bad driving records to obtain trucking licenses. Can you believe it? Like, for money? Come on. I'm a capitalist. You know, I want you to make a shit ton of money, but not at the expense of other people. Like I'm talking serious harm. Labor groups closely aligned with the Democratic Party quickly sued to squash the new regulations. Right. Claiming that the rules would harm hundreds of thousands of foreign nationals. Guys, who gives a shit? Why would you give a shit about foreign nationals that are taking CDLs that can't even read the road signs? What'd you say?
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Who gives a shit? Bars argues that the rules are solely intended to keep American highways safe. Right. They go, oh, it's because you don't like brown people. Just shut the hell up with that. I'm tired of hearing that. No one wants to lose good qualified drivers, Bars said, told the DCNF. Speaking about a number of migrant drivers expected to be taken off the roads over the next several years due to the tighter regulations. To me, this is a safety aspect. We have to always bring it back to that piece. I'm not willing, in the role I have at FMCSA, to compromise safety just to put someone in the seat of a truck. Exactly. So that's what's going on.
Okay, here's one that you have to show the people. The African migrant is asked about. Everybody needs to see this.
Is that what it is? Everybody needs to see this? What does it say? Where's it at?
It's in the top section, third from the bottom.
Third from the bottom.
African migrant is asked about.
Oh yeah. Let's go down to it.
Everybody needs to see this.
Yeah. Let's see. There he is. Is this it? Hold on. Do you ever think about the consequences of rape?
Yeah, this is the article, but go up to the top of the article.
No, I did. I didn't see any video up there.
Well, I don't
Okay.
know if there's a video, but
Well, there is. I was just on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just on the video right here. Let's just see what he says.
Some of them, they're not screaming. It's like they wanted to be raped, you see. She also grabs you.
They wanted to be raped. Let's start that over again. This is going to be good.
Some of them, they're not screaming. It's like they wanted to be raped, you see. She also grabs you, you see, no
It's
more
like
crying.
she's enjoying it, you know, even though she isn't, but it's like she's enjoying it.
Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right to rape?
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong.
What about the consequences of what you're doing in terms of how that affects
Exactly.
the person that's raped?
Yeah, the consequences, we look at that all the time, you know, because it happens.
I mean, we do it, but we think about it. That reminds me, guys. Saturday Night Live had this thing where they did a talk show, and it was Garrett Morris was the host, and John Belushi was the guest, and they're talking about it was an organization that Belushi so-called started. It was a rape organization, and it was all men. And so Garrett Morris says, "Tell us about your organization." And he goes, "It's something that America needs." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Look," he goes, "when a man rapes a woman, he feels really bad, and he needs to know that there are other men out there." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they did that!" Right? That's what this is like.
Might scream, you know, people might wake up. A lot of people, especially.
I'm not just talking about. I'm talking about the emotional effect, the physical effect it has on the girl.
Yeah. Sometimes we know that we might rape her and wake up tomorrow with viruses ourselves, like HIV. You know.
What about regretting what you've done to the girl?
Yeah.
I also do regret about it, because if she fell pregnant, what will be that baby's father? Who will be that baby's father?
But what about her personal feelings?
You got this? They're like, "What? What do you mean? Can you believe this shit?"
What did he say about if she gets pregnant?
He goes, "Who's going to be the baby's father?"
Oh yeah, they've got
Not him.
Yeah,
Guys, this is real. This is what they think.
the first thing out of his mouth is says, "Oh, he says, do you ever think of the consequences?" Well, yeah, she might scream and wake people up.
Yeah. These people are nuts. What kind of culture is that? They're crazy. That's why they were so nonchalant about it. Well, yeah, we're not allowed to rape. Are you kidding me? That's why there was a thing that was going around. What the hell was it? It was some lib nut organization where they wanted to it was like they wanted to go through the UN and get all these countries. It was that woman who she was a congresswoman, Democrat. What the hell was her claim to fame? But long story short, they couldn't even get the name of the organization agreed upon. And there were some nations that said they were reading this, the literature for it, and they go, "Whoa, wait a minute. We can't rape? That's what we do. What are you talking about? We can't rape women. What? Women have rights?" They were like, it was like, and I was like, Rush Limbaugh actually read it on the air, and I was laughing my ass off because, folks, these people are inhuman. And you just heard it right there. They're not human beings when they think that way. I mean, I'm sorry.
White House says Trump will meet with Xi in China in May.
Yeah.
That might be interesting.
Jeff, I think you're right, but I can't highlight that because I would probably get in trouble if I highlighted that. But I think you're right about that. The one about the invention? Yeah, I think you're right. I heard about it. What'd you say? Which one?
What did Jeff say?
No. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
So what? Go ahead.
Yeah. The White House says Trump will meet Xi in China in May. That might be interesting. That's
Xi.
It's the fourth story down.
Yeah, right there. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they try to have someone attack them over there.
I don't think they would do that.
I don't know. They attacked the world with COVID. That was a bomb. Let me tell you. I think it was intentional. I don't believe that shit. It leaked. No, I don't believe that shit at all.
Now, and if they did,
I don't believe that shit at all.
If they did, I don't think they would do anything to draw attention. But if they had somebody serve him food who was infected with some sort of something,
right. Well, he wouldn't eat it anyway.
Well,
I
I'm
would.
assuming you don't touch, eat, or drink anything there that you didn't bring yourself.
Or you have a food taster. You hire a food taster, right?
Yeah,
All right.
I just wouldn't eat anything that I didn't bring myself.
Did you ever notice that no matter what face any politician has, smile, serious, Xi has that look on his face like I can't believe I got to lower and belittle myself to be with this guy. You ever notice that? Trucker Carlson. Yeah. Yeah, Tucker's gone a little bit off the deep end too. Candace Owens, holy shit, what happened to her? Like, she went full-blown nuts. She really did. Hey, what's up, Loaf?
Rich, did you know that Xi Jinping outlawed Winnie the Pooh in China?
Yeah, I heard that. I think didn't they call him Winnie the Pooh, or they called him something?
If you look at a face-on picture of Xi Jinping, and you
it
put up
looks
a
like Winnie the
picture
Pooh.
of Winnie the Pooh, it looks like a caricature of Xi Jinping.
Oh yeah, caricature. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They told us it was a wet market. Total nonsense. All right, so here we go. So let me make it bigger. A long-awaited meeting between President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi COVID-19 will take place in Beijing on May 14th and 15th, the White House said on Wednesday. Trump and First Lady Melania will also host Xi and Madame Peng Liyuan for the reciprocal visit in Washington, D.C. at a to-be-announced date later this year. White House Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters. The announcement amounts to a roughly 6-week postponement of the Chinese summit, which was expected to occur in late March and early April. But Trump said in mid-March that the U.S. had asked to delay the meeting by a month or so in light of the Iran war. In a Truth Social post after Wednesday's press briefing, Trump said that the U.S. representatives are finalizing preparations for these historic visits. Quote, I look very much forward to spending time with President Xi in what I am sure, a monumental event. Now, let me tell you something. Trump always says, well, I'm very friendly with Xi. He knows how I am. He knows I don't play, but he knows how I am. No, he does not like Xi. What's this? Oh, Rich, did you hear the story about 7 dogs kidnapped from a Chinese village, escaped the dog meat festival, and walked home together? It took them 2 days.
I don't get it.
Yeah, read it again. You hear a story about 7 dogs kidnapped. 7 dogs are kidnapped from a Chinese village, escaped the dog meat festival, and walked home together. It took them 2 days because they probably had legs taken away. Because they eat dog.
Okay,
Asians eat dog.
I get it. I just don't think it's funny. I guess.
Okay, I thought it was. Let me see. The Trump administration has said it expects the war, which began February 28th, when the U.S. and Israel launched strikes against Iran, will last around 5 weeks. Though some officials have offered varying timelines. Asked Wednesday if the new schedule for Trump's China trip means that the U.S. expects the war will be wound down by mid-May, Leavitt said, we've always estimated approximately 4 to 6 weeks, so we could do the math on that. Yeah, well, it's a forever war. Yeah, 6 weeks. Okay. Let me say, time.
I just noticed this.
What?
Something about the LaGuardia crash. Is that the most recent one, like last week, where the
I think so. Yeah, but I had no interest in it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll read it later because it's something I want to know about.
This is good. Did you hear about the Lamborghini owner, his license plate?
I have not seen.
They're taking his license plate. Let me see if it's a. They're going to do it.
Tired of your devices spying on you?
Hold on. I think it's only one.
Privacy-focused technology.
Personalized plate, but he won't be.
Hold on.
It's a Lamborghini, so it already gets a lot of looks from other drivers. But if the state of Texas is correct, it's also turning heads because of the license plate on the car. The DMV says the plate is offensive. The owner disagrees. You be the judge. Joel Eisenbaum has the story only on Tuesday night.
About the Houston plate. So high rollers love them, and so do others. In fact, there are more than 120,000 personalized license plates in Texas. Safir Hassan, for the last 3+ years, has had one on his Lamborghini.
370H55V as in Victor.
The problem is the state says this puzzling alphanumeric jumble is no longer acceptable. They told them by letter, quote, "It has been determined that the personalization is offensive." The DMV has hummed this tune before. The standard for revocation?
Would it invoke a response from other drivers that may be driving past that vehicle?
Hassan argues his plate doesn't meet that standard.
I definitely think the state is overreaching their boundaries.
I mean, you still haven't figured out why this plate could be considered offensive, have you? How about when we flip it over? You're now looking at a blurred out cuss word, and it took the state some time to reach the conclusion, but apparently they don't think it's funny. Quote, cancellation will occur 30 days.
Now, a lot of people are saying, well, it's not his fault. No, it was a personalized plate he wanted.
Days from the date of this letter. Hassan is welcome to find another personalized plate, but he won't be refunded if he doesn't. Hassan is strongly considering appealing the state's decision, but he has to do it in writing, and he has to do it pretty quickly. It's better, though, than getting stuck with a fairly lame license plate like mine. Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC Tim.
Now, why would he tell everybody his license plate? He's just identifying. Yeah, there you go. She gave the answer. They escaped the truck they were in. They didn't actually get to the festival. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
Let me see. Yeah, let me see. I forget. Oh, yeah. This girl. Hang on. Let me bring it up. Oh, come on.
This is a great place to work with great American brands.
Dr. Pepper, really?
4 kids through college working
Okay.
here.
So we're just finding out now that in the last 2 weeks that the CIA knew, number one, that there is a direct link between parasites and cancer, and that ivermectin and fenben are actually used as cures for cancer. And I'm not just talking stage 1 common cancers. I am talking about terminal rare cancers, late stages, that people were getting completely cured using ivermectin and fenben. And second, we're finding out that under Lyndon B. Johnson, according to declassified CIA documents, that the U.S. military was spraying chemicals in the sky to modify the weather, aka your chemtrails. So the two very things that people have, been suspended on social media for, been fact-checked over, lost their jobs over, or plagued and outcasted from society over for believing that ivermectin could be a cure not only just for cancer, but for so many diseases that we have, because there's a parasitic link to almost everything. And believing that what you see in the sky, which are just chemtrails constantly, every single day, are actually true. At this point, I'm not even worried about betting on political markets. I would just like to see Polymarket open up a conspiracy theorist betting market so that everyone, all the conspiracy theories and all the conspiracy theory deniers can go in there and place their bets on conspiracy theories and whether or not they will be confirmed true or false in like the next 5 to 10 years.
Exactly.
I'm also slightly concerned because why are some of the two biggest things, chemtrails and a cure for cancer, being released within like 2 weeks? And I'm like, is something big gonna happen? Are we gonna die? Jack does not have a care in the world. He's just excited to be here. I think he wants to win.
That's enough. It was over anyway. But yeah, ivermectin, if you took the horse paste version of it, which is pretty much the same thing, and you have skin cancer, and if you just put a little coating on it every single day for about 6 weeks, your skin cancer is gone. No laser burning, none of that crap is gone. Ivermectin pretty much, it goes based on the theory of inflammation causes a lot of diseases and a lot of heart problems, a lot of cancers. And so ivermectin is known to handle the inflammation really well, which is why it also helped COVID patients like me. When I had the Delta, I thought I was dying. Then 6 hours after taking the second dose, symptoms vanished, like in a minute, vanished. So,
yeah, I believe in ivermectin certainly for COVID. I don't know about the skin cancer. There's a drug.
Well,
wait.
I know someone that did it, and the skin cancer is gone.
Wait. There's a drug called Aldara, and imiquimod is its generic name. and basically it is an immune system activator. And what it does, if it notices, if you put it on your skin and you have like an actinic keratosis or even a basal cell carcinoma,
Yeah.
It will activate your immune system so that your immune system fights it off. And it turns your skin red and blisters, but when it heals without scarring.
Mm-hmm.
And it removes the cancer cells.
Yeah.
By activating your own immune system.
Yep. And ivermectin does it as well. It just, you got to put it every day for about 4 to 6 weeks, and it goes away.
Yeah, I don't know about Aldara for skin cancer. Excuse me, I don't know about the ivermectin for skin cancer, but the Aldara, you put it on for anywhere from 5 to 7 days. There's different protocols.
Right.
But you'll see a change.
But I know someone to work for.
Yeah, the thing is, if you put it all your whole forearm, for instance, and it won't do anything to 90% of the forearm. But if you've got 2 spots that are abnormal cells,
right,
it will attack
fix them.
Like an invading army.
Right. Let's see.
Looks like we're done.
Well, we got one more.
Want to do one more?
Yeah. Let me see. What do I want to pick? I let you pick them all.
Yeah, I picked a bunch.
Here's just talking to Jamie Raskin. Let's see. This is Caroline Levitt, who I love. She's
Jamie Raskin, who I don't.
Yeah, I know. She's going off on Jamie Raskin.
I saw that letter from Congressman Raskin this morning, who I would add has zero credibility.
Yeah.
And this letter was clearly a cheap political stunt. What the congressman did here, Brian, and for everyone in the room who's hopefully not reporting on this as fact, is that he took untrue and salacious claims in a memo that was produced by Jack Smith, who has been completely discredited for his lawfare and his witch hunts against this president. And that information was unverified. It never even made it into the indictment because it was so unverified. And what happened to that indictment anyway? It was thrown out. And Jack Smith has been proven, again, to be a prosecutor on a witch hunt against President Trump. He tried to throw him in jail ahead of the 2024 election. The Biden Department of Justice was fully on board with this lawfare campaign. And in fact, this story that was concocted by Congressman Raskin was so ridiculous. I understand his communications team reached out to some outlets in this room who responsibly said, we're not going to write this because this is just too much. However, of course, MS Now did write that story this morning because they continue to be left-wing propaganda for the Democrat Party. But I think Jack Smith has been proven to be a liar and a fraud. And this is, again, a cheap political stunt from a Democrat on Capitol Hill who I think wants to get himself on cable television.
Right. Exactly. Linda's asking you, what is it called again, that medicine you talked about?
Aldara. Aldara.
Okay.
That's the brand name. If you are in a different country, you may have to look it up as the generic name. Let me get the proper spelling because it's a difficult to spell name. Let me get the
Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already. It helps us. Thank you. While she's looking that up. Also, tomorrow night, I'm going to be on 42's show. So do me a favor, you guys that usually show up, please show up. Bring some friends. If you don't, I'm going to put a post out tomorrow of the link once I get it. Once 40 puts up the link. So I'm going to put it, I'll do a post on my channel here as well, but it'll be fun. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but I want to find something good because it's been a minute.
This is becoming impossible. Let me try this. I don't.
What are you trying to find? Aldara?
Yeah. Just type in Aldara.
Yeah, it says imiquimod.
Imiquimod.
Yeah.
Imiquimod. That's the name you may have to look it up under because if you're in a different country.
I will print it out.
If you want to put it up on the chat or on the screen.
Yeah, I will. I'll put it here. And then we'll sit around for a bit so she can screenshot it. There you go.
It's not up.
Oh, it probably can't post comments to some destinations. Let me go into the actual thing. Hang on. I have to go. I can't do it. I did it in StreamYard, so I'll do it.
Okay, it came up in the chat.
Oh, there it is. All right. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, Eldara Imiquimod.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing. It is prescription,
Okay.
but it's really good for some precancerous lesions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure I get that one either. But
Yeah. She drinks a Michelob as a chaser during happy hour. She needs it after decades in the streets. We call her Heels Up Harris.
Yeah, and there's a reason.
Yeah, there really
and
is.
it is the reason you're thinking.
Yeah, it's very much the reason you're thinking. All right, guys, thank you very much for being here tonight. You guys spent 3 hours with us again. You guys are freaking amazing. We love you guys. See you tomorrow night. For those of you that are going to go to 40, thank you again. Next week, can you bring some friends? Start watching my videos during the week. We're dying. They changed the algorithm, and smaller channels are not getting hit anymore. So we got to get people in there. We got to get the numbers up. In other words, people watch and people comment and stuff like that, and then we'll get back in. Other than that, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Love you all. See you next week. See most of you tomorrow night. Take care. Bye-bye.